listen to radio. iLive Radio.
This is Emerson and you're locked into iLive Radio. Keep it locked.
This is Felicia Temple and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
What's up, everybody? This is Indie Soulstress Gwen Yvette on iLive Radio, station that supports independent artists in their music.
Are you looking for that feel-good music? The kind of music that makes you want to share with your friends? Then you've been looking for iLive Radio, your number one source for music lovers worldwide, playing a variety of hits from soul, reggae, gospel, jazz, hip-hop, funk, and everything in between. Download the iLive Radio app now and listen to us when you're on the go. Available on iTunes and the Google Play Store. You can also listen live on TuneIn and Alexa. iLive Radio. Changing the way you listen to radio.
She's a hip-hop geek influenced by Dylan. Tune into the show each and every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. on iLive Radio UK, where the vibe is funky, chunky beats. It's a world with lost funk hits, the sound innovation. This is Lightworks with Be Swiss on iLive Radio UK.
Tune in to JC's Progressive Soul every Monday, 10 till midnight with me, JC, playing the best in soul and soulful hip-hop. From the classic to the rare, blended with the neo and progressive, celebrating legends past and present. That's JC's Progressive Soul every Monday, 10 p.m. till midnight.
Illusion. We're starting up, now we're on our way.
Hi, I'm DJ Illusion. Join me every Tuesday between 7 and 9 p.m. UK time, right here on iLive Radio with The Flashback Show, changing the way you listen to music.
Yeah, iLive Radio.
The Flashback Show, across the World Wide Web.
iLive Radio.
The days when the nights we young.
Welcome to iLive UK. This is Deep Sound here, telling you to tune in to the Beats and Bass Show every Tuesday, 9 to 11, showcasing the best in 140 dubstep and grime, and sometimes going across the board, featuring guest mixers, artists, and guest DJs. So tell a friend, every Tuesday, 9 to 11, Beats and Bass Show on iLive UK, changing the way you listen to music.
iLive UK want to hear from you. You can get in touch by calling us on 0208 638 8503, or you can send a WhatsApp message, text only, to 07564 265 257. You can watch us live on Twitch and Mixcloud, and whenever you miss a show, you can listen back via our podcast page at ilivuk.com. Don't forget to download our iLive Radio Network app from the Google Store and take us on the road with you. It's iLive UK across all platforms, changing the way you listen to radio.
You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
Well, hello and welcome to the very first episode of SKILLITS World, brought to you by Ryan Skillett. Welcome to my world. I go by the name of Ryan Skillett. I am your host for the next couple hours. We will be talking everything through music, through wrestling, through, I don't know, what do you call it? We just talk. We have a nice conversation. I've got a lovely co-host with me today. Her name is Pree Preein, who's somebody that I go way back. Hello, Pree. Say hello to the lovely people.
Hi, love. You all right?
Yeah. How are you? Thank you for joining us.
I'm feeling good.
Yeah, you're feeling grandiose.
Want to mention the sponsor?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. You know, that's one thing I definitely need to mention today. So today's episode is actually brought to you by Mr. Tim Peace, a mindset coach, where he believes that the successful life comes from a meaningful life. So a meaningful life is a successful life. And you are absolutely right,
That's
Tim.
very true.
Thank you for sponsoring the show. You are a star. But we also have another star in the show with us today. He is, in my opinion, a rap legend. He is a humble... He's got humble beginnings. Look, even when I said that, he screwed his face. So, you know. He's a really close friend of mine. He's a very respected rapper in the game. And he's also a very respected podcaster in the game with his own podcast with my man Sumit called Breaking Atoms, where they interview legendary rappers. When I'm talking about legendary, I ain't just saying that to throw it out there. They've interviewed the Beat Nuts. They've interviewed... you've interviewed Corrupt. I try to remember names off the top of my head. You've interviewed some members for the Wu-Tang. You've interviewed so many people. So please big up yourself. Please give some people who you are. Say hello to the people listening right now.
Greetings, everyone. This is K.I.N.E.T.I.K. My mother calls me Christopher. Okay. And my wife calls me Christopher when she's angry sometimes. But yeah, you know, Skillit, thank you for the introduction. You called me a rap legend, and I screwed up my face because that's something that people have said, but I don't see myself as that.
Okay. Accept it. It's true.
Thank you so much, Pree. I stand on the shoulders of giants, man. So, you know, for all the accolades that I get, I always remember those people who inspired me to do what I do. In my eyes, those are the legends. But yeah, I'm a hip hop fan, nerd, wrestling fan. I'm a podcaster too, and Breaking Atoms. We've done bits. We've done bits.
100%.
You've spoken to a few legends.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, more than a few. We'll get into that in a minute. But I just want to actually kind of circle to your beginnings of how you became a rapper. You were raised in Northwest
London, man. I'm loyal to the soil. If you go to Northwest London, stand outside Sam's, you might see a vision of me in the sky. Do you know what I mean? But that's just me. Yeah, Northwest London, Kensal Rise.
So Kensal Rise is there. Okay.
Yeah. So my grandma lived in Kensal Rise, and like many of us young West Indian kids, we were raised by our grandmothers. So mum and dad were still around, but they were working. So I was raised in Kensal Rise with my grandmother, me, my brother and my sister. I went to school in Harlesden, so I was back and forth between Kensal Rise and Harlesden. And, you know, this is in the 80s and 90s, so I had to learn the names of the roads, learn the faces, learn how to move, how not to move. It was a very rich community experience where we knew everyone on a first name basis.
Right.
It was, you know, we could go outside and play. Some people, you know, couldn't go outside and play.
No, not at all.
This isn't, you know, some people just couldn't go outside. I won't get into their business. But Northwest London is a very, very rich and historical area, especially when it comes to music too.
And your parents are from Jamaica?
Parents are from Jamaica, yeah.
So what was that like growing up in having a Jamaican household in?
It was dope.
There's a lot of Jamaican heritage in the part of Kensal Rise.
Absolutely, man. Like, it was dope. 'Cause, you know, being raised by my grandmother, I had the best of both worlds because my mum came to this country in 1963. So she was 9 when she came. So she had the experience of coming from Jamaica and kind of assimilating to the ways of the UK. But my grandma was very much, she was West Indian. Like, so I grew up eating West Indian food. You know, I grew up, some people don't know what a partner is, but people used to come to the house, drop off money, shit, you know, you get the money this month. I grew up in all that Mackerson Stout, Domino's. Yeah. So I saw all of that. So it's funny when I got older and people came from Jamaica and saw how I moved. And they're like, how do you know all of this? Like, and I'm saying, because even though I was raised in England, I was raised in a West Indian household. Right. So a lot of the, you know, the sayings, the way they talk, the morals, the values, the principles and stuff, you know, I was exposed to that from early.
And growing up, like, you know, music was a big factor in your life. Mm-hmm. When did you discover like hip hop was going to be a major factor in your life?
So music was definitely a big thing in my life. My mom was the choir director.
Okay.
At the church. So she even said to me that, you know, I was directing the choir with you in my belly. So in many ways, I was exposed to music from then. Do you know what I mean? But growing up in a very traditional church, now, you know, hip hop was devil's music.
Yeah. So your mum was kind of opposed to hip hop.
She wasn't on it. She didn't shut it down, but she wasn't on it. Like,
right. But what kind of hip hop were you listening to?
I first fell in love with hip hop when I heard MC Hammer, "You Can't Touch This."
Okay.
That's what got me. And then when I saw Crisscross,
Jump.
And because Christopher Kelly, Christopher Smith, I was like, they got my name. Yeah. So I can relate on that level. And they were similar age to me, and I'm like, oh, they can do it, so can I.
Yeah.
So that's when I really started to kind of, you know, immerse myself in hip hop music. But I can truly say I really fell in love with hip hop music and culture when I got the tape of Enter the Wu-Tang.
Right. Okay. So is that the first cassette tape?
That was the first cassette tape I got with the wrong track listing on the back. Okay. And it was taped like 100 times. So you know the quality was real bad. It was like throughout the whole album.
Yeah.
But I do remember the day. That was a pivotal, life-changing moment for me when I got that tape.
Okay, cool. We're just having some real adjustments here.
I'm just being a diva.
No, it's fine. It's my fault anyway. So, if you can get a bit closer to Pree for me, thank you, Connect. Okay, so Wu-Tang was kind of what kind of changed the game for you, to be honest.
Yeah, that's when I really fell in love with like lyricism. So,
who was your favorite Wu member?
Inspector Deck.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Inspector Deck was the anchor. He always set the song off. You got to follow him.
Yeah, he's one. I feel like every song they did together, you know, when they had all 9 members in one song, he always had the best verse.
And he's the master of the opening bar, along with Prodigy.
Yeah.
No one's better. And you as an MC know the hardest bar to write is the first and the last.
100%. There's a lot of pressure there. Or sometimes they just have to shift it for them to be that's the because sometimes you know how it is when you create a song. The order that you hear it at the final product wasn't probably the order that was going to start it off.
Absolutely.
So it's like, you know, they're comparing it to, maybe Mesh should start it off, or maybe, and then you hear Inspector Deck's verse, you're like, he has to go
leave him. Leave that man alone.
So I'm going to go through some of your music, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, man.
We'll chop and change. We'll go back to some interviews, but I want to play some of your songs. I love, this is one of my favorite songs of yours. This is called Here We Go. This is produced by Michael Parkinson. Actually, before I play the song, what's your relationship like with Michael Parkinson? How did that even get together?
Michael Parkinson is my big brother.
Right.
In music.
So for those who don't know who Michael Parkinson is,
he's a legend.
He is a legend.
He's a legend.
He is a legend.
Like, outside of music, if Michael Parkinson calls me for anything, and he's never called me for a favor, but if he needed a favor from me, he would have that. So long story short, I went to his launch party. I was bored one night and I went to his launch party, and it turned out he was on stage. He said, "Shout out my wife Miranda."
Right.
I looked up. I said, "I swear that's Miranda who I went to college with." So Miranda back in college days was like, "I'm dating this rapper." Right? Oh. But me and my friends, we were haters, innit? Like, let's be honest, innit? It's not cool to hate, but we was haters. So we was just like, nah, he ain't dating a rapper, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward 10 years, that rapper is now her husband.
No way.
So when I gave him my demo at the time, he took it and he's like, "Yeah, I like your music, man. My wife vouched for you, said you're cool." So in terms of Here We Go, he sent me a beat tape and I heard that and I'm like, I can't do that justice. Yeah. He calls me like a week later and he's like, "I want you to rap to this."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You sure?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'll tell you a story before you play it. There's a line in there. I say, "I'm a hitman for hire."
Yeah.
I met Elliot Wilson.
Right.
The day I recorded this song, and he asked me, "What do you do?" Sumit introduced me, and I told him I'm a hitman for hire. So that's why I put it in the song, because I didn't know how to introduce myself, because I'm really not good at that stuff.
I mean, like Michael Parkinson's worked with like the likes of Genesis Elijah. He's worked with all kinds of Maestro.
Yeah.
He's worked with a lot of the UK hip hop.
We have a really good chemistry, and it's something I didn't know until recently. Like, we just did an EP called Spin Cycle.
Right.
And it's like, we got a really good chemistry.
Yeah, he makes some crazy beats, and every time I bump into him, he's always like fun going. He's fun loving, and he did some.
And he's a family man. He's a great dad, and he loves his family. And I think, as great as he is as an MC and as a producer, he's an even better person.
All right, we'll get into this one. This is called Here We Go. It's K.I.N.E.T.I.K, produced by Michael Parkinson.
About to take you on a trip. Fasten your seatbelts. K.I.N.E.T.'s about to take you for a ride. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. You don't play. Party on the roof, like here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Come on, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Yo, with joy I destroy this track. Your boy is back. The hitman for hire with fire that's poised to clap. When I voice the facts, they're coming with noise attack. Embedding venom in the pen, and this is poison rap. But it's a give her a vigor when it's shot in the veins. Love lost, the gloves are off, so cut the block and restraints. For those bluffing around, I just come and astound with a rough and thunderous sound and put them under the ground. I'm the man of 1,000 flows, and everyone is crazy. They'll even have your lady coming out of her clothes, cause she's bugging and loving the way I spit bars well. I never bottle up my arrogance like Rick Martel. But if I never blow and get dough like whoa, just know before I go I never sold my soul. Cause my goal is to be known for lighting the mic superbly and being nice verbally, minus the hyperbole. So here we go. 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 for battle, that's how I channel my pain and karma. Who came for drama, the fake of making insane departure? I know I might die, but why try and restrain a martyr? Who really cares if your chain is larger and clothes are branded? But just know the flows are candid. When they drain from my parker, then they turn flame and lava. And in 2-2s I slew crews of who's and maim your partner. And my sublime twang and rhyme and slang is like a sickening depiction of a canine's fangs sinking in the track. So every single time it bangs, even paraplegics are trying to stand. From my torso to my lower half, I embody a potent craft that most won't surpass, and the chance of me getting booed is slim. So as the tune begins, consider it a warning to the foolish men who ain't familiar with the pseudonym. So here we go.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Kinesis Thesis 3 just begun. Michael Parkinson on the beat slide.
K.I.N.E.T.I.K and Michael Parkinson. What project was that on again?
That was on the Kinesis Thesis Volume 3.
Thesis. I think that's my favorite project of yours. That came out 2011?
2012. It's the 10th anniversary in 4 weeks.
Wow.
Oh, you should mark that.
Yeah, I'm going to. That project is really special to me.
That made me want to go out. You should like
Thank
have
you.
a party or something like.
Thank you. Thank you.
Rave.
Are you doing anything for that?
I might do a little mini podcast series, just with everyone who was on it. You know, myself, Tone, T1, K.I.N.E.T.I.K. You know, it's
Jaunty as well.
Yeah, that's the project where I really found my voice. Like I remember the project leaked, leaked on the internet. I'm like leaked.
Okay, well, I mean, that's
Yeah, I was like, huh? Come on, you know. So I was like, wow, I got something that leaked, and you know, people were putting me like best of lists and all that jazz.
I remember that there was a lot of lists that was circulating around that time. A lot of top 10 lists, and I remember you popped up in a few of them.
Yeah, that's the one that really that's where I found my voice, man. And it's interesting because that's like my 4th or 5th project, and that's what I tell a lot of artists now. It's like, you know, if you're fortunate enough to find your voice early on, that's great. But sometimes you don't really find who you truly are until you're somewhat down the line in terms of the process.
Around that time, you were working very closely. Well, I think just before that album dropped, you worked closely with Drastic.
Yep.
You guys were in a group together called Grand Central, and you guys had a lot of buzz. SBTV used to play your stuff. Jamal was a big supporter.
Yeah, rest in peace. Rest in peace, Jamal.
Edwards. He was a big supporter of you guys. What happened there, if you don't mind me asking? You don't have to get into anything.
No, it's cool. Differences in like personalities, a difference in terms of like, you know, our ethos.
Right.
Grand Central was very much a self-funded, kind of a very insular unit of 2 people. You know, I got to shout out Drastic as well, because Drastic's from Northwest London too. And I always remember when I first saw him just being really impressed with like his stage presence, his package. I remember one time I was walking down Kilburn High Road and about 6 men just walked up to me. So, you know, being from Northwest London, the spider senses go off, innit?
Yeah, of course.
I'm like, okay.
It's on
today.
Yeah.
The guy just came up to me and put his hand on his chest. He goes, I'm from the team of Drastic. Respect.
Right.
No way.
Yeah, because he had seen me perform somewhere. So it was always a mutual respect. And I think, you know, in a nutshell, I think a lack of communication between us two and just creative differences.
But it wasn't any like bad blood or anything.
It got funky.
Right.
It got funky.
Because obviously respect to Drastic, you know, I get along with him as well, but
yeah.
I know he has a bit of a
but you know what? It's like, I think he's very misunderstood.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's very misunderstood. I think at the core of who he is, he's a good person. But there was some misunderstandings, and we didn't speak.
Right.
For a while.
Right.
But you know, we've patched things up. I've seen him since. We've seen each other since, and I actually addressed it on a song I did on Michael Parkinson's beat called Wishful Thinking.
Okay.
And I basically said, like, I look back and I'm like, I wish I had handled
situation
a bit differently. So that was my olive branch to him, and I sent him the song, and you know, it was all peace. Working with Drastic made me a better MC.
Okay.
Made me a way better MC. Like,
I mean, I remember when he used to be on Channel U frequently. He had a lot of videos on there, and that's when I first heard of him. He was doing quite, you know, the first class of Channel U.
Yeah, he was on the first
he's
made his contributions, man, and you got to salute him for that. But working with Drastic definitely made, because his work, he can do like 3-4 songs in a day. I'm the type of person I need a day to write a verse.
I know. I remember Justin asked me to be on he asked me to be in a song of him, and I think it might have been TB, and I took ages.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I got the verse now.
Yeah, he's moved on.
And he was like, yeah, no, I moved on. I was like, all right, no worries.
Yeah.
So that, and that's fair enough.
Yeah,
you know, like,
he works like that.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, Grand Central was good. It was good times, man. I learned. Like I had fun, man. Like SBTV. I saw someone wearing the T-shirt the other day in Harlem, and I'm like, some old man.
Yeah.
I'm like, how you get that shirt?
Yeah.
Come on, how you get that shirt, man? But it's good. Good times. Good
Yeah,
times. A lot of, and that's why Volume 3, Kinesis Thesis, came out the way it did, because that was the first project that I did after the breakup of Grand Central.
Sure.
So I said to myself, I'm on my own again. I got something to prove.
And
I've got something to prove.
And that was the year of the underdog.
Yeah. That was actually a scrapped Grand Central song. There was a discrepancy over that too.
For real?
Yeah. I mean, I'm telling this story for the first time.
Okay.
So it was originally a Grand Central song.
Yep.
And from what I can remember, Drastic uses, we had that verse you hear on the original was written for the original Grand Central song, and I think we didn't end up recording it, so I took my verse and just called it Year of the Underdog, and there was a discrepancy over that because Drastic came up with the idea, the concept of Year of the Underdog. So I really liked my verse, and me calling it Year of the Underdog was a bit of a slight. So he felt away. We spoke about it. It wasn't any like any kind of like, oh, you stole my idea. It was kind of like should have given me a heads up.
Right.
About that. So I understand it. But these things happen, man.
But you
learn, man.
And you two on good terms now.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Shout out to Drastic.
Well, yeah, The Underdog is one of my favorite songs of yours. You had a remix version of that song with my brother K.I.N.E.T.I.K and Jaunty. I'm going to play that song now, and we'll talk a bit more about more Connect.
Let's do it.
Even when I'm by myself, it's the remix. Yo, K.I.N.E.T.I.K.
Yes. Underdog remix.
Jaunty, quarantine. Listen, yo, back in my school days, a teacher said my future was bleak, and I would either be in jail or running loose on the streets. But if they saw me now, I bet they'd all be losing their sleep, because I made it to a place a lot of youth couldn't reach. I was sat at the back of the class just having a laugh. Now I'm an eligible bachelor and bachelor of arts. I'm paying my own taxes. I can't be a victim of the system or curriculum. I'm never going backwards. And now I see the deeper meaning of life, being closer to the achievements that I dream of at night. Even youngers are coming up to me and seeking advice. I tell them it's deeper than wealth and to believe in yourself. So whether you rise or fall, keep your eyes on the ball. Focus, know it's a test and that your life is a call. Still it can either leave you written off or worse for wear, but it's the habit of an underdog to persevere. It's the year of the underdog, so every time I open my eyes I tap into my focus and drive, cause one of these days my spirit's gonna float in the sky. So I'm working till I'm holding the prize. It's the year of the underdog, so every time I open my eyes I tap into my focus and drive, cause one of these days my spirit's gonna float in the sky. So I'm working till I'm holding the prize.
Man, I put myself second my whole life. Used to pick up pad 2 and play with Tails Miles. I'm like, dude, fly, he can fly. But with Knuckles a ride and he can glide. Yo, that I didn't lie. Cause new dude was getting more shine. And 2-2s, he's featuring his own joint. Sonic by his side, yeah. And Tails is getting sidelined. Until I put Sonic 3 and Knuckles combined in the Mega Drive. Now you see our underdogs is getting hated on. They're not favorites until they get to raining on. Sun, snow, lightning bolt, and hailing on. Well, records are there to be annihilated. Time to get you sane and not. More than the paper, yearning for something greater. Trying to see this food for thought right to your stomach. On the way up, catching a couple haters till they praise it. And even the haters are gonna love it. What?
It's the year of the underdog, so every time I open my eyes I tap into my focus and drive, cause one of these days my spirit's gonna float in the sky. So I'm working till I'm holding the prize. It's the year of the underdog, so every time I open my eyes I tap into my focus and drive, cause one of these days my spirit's gonna float in the sky. So I'm working till I'm holding the prize.
Yeah, underdog, I'm on the grind and underrated, but undefeated in my eyes because I ether with the rhymes. I cause lesions when you read them, I get even in my prime. So I feed them all the reasons why I'm needed on the mic. So I connect with kinetic and disconnect with synthetic. Disrespect all the efforts and then affect them with methods and then I bless them on record. Say a little prayer for them, it's the underdog's turn. So I pray a better year for them. They can hate the talent, but that means I fear for them. Cause while we're here touring, they're there snoring, working double time with other rhymes. They hear cheers roaring and the sun will shine. The rugged rhymes, the bread tears orphans and I'm the world threat. Burn sets, word sets, spray fire, leave your your skin dry, but your girl wet. Cross the opposition, fuck the system, top of wisdom, leaving with next to nothing, not even a fucking pot to piss in.
It's the year of the underdog, so every time I open my eyes, I tap into my focus and drive. Cause one of these days, my spirit's gonna float in the sky, so I'm working till I'm holding the prize. It's the year of the underdog, so every time I open my eyes, I tap into my focus and drive. Cause one of these days, my spirit's gonna float in the sky, so I'm working till I'm holding the prize.
K.I.N.E.T.I.K, the year of the underdog, featuring Jaunty and K.I.N.E.T.13. That was yeah, I know you're a big fan of the K.I.N.E.T.13's verse on that tune.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. You know when they say who got washed on a song, I gladly got washed on that song, and it was an absolute honor. Putting that song together, I think, is one of the best A&R moments of my life, because I just knew we'd all sound good together. Me, Jaunty, and K.I.N.E.T. Shout out to all of them. I just knew. People would say, I remember people saying, but why?
Flow and tone, I would say.
I just knew. It's just something I knew. And K.I.N.E.T.'s one of my favorite MCs in this country, and I always tell him this. And because we're friends, you know, he's kind of like whatever. But no, K.I.N.E.T.
He'll do that to anyone.
K.I.N.E.T. is one of K.I.N.E.T.'s one of the best, man. Like, he's so, like, people say I'm talented. This man, everything he puts his hands on turns to gold.
Right.
So talented. Love that guy. And Jaunty, like, his verse was like so abstract. He talks about playing Sonic and Knuckles, Pad 2. You know, you got to be in the culture to know what he's talking about, man. That's one of my favorite songs.
Jaunty's very complex with his rhyme schemes and how he raps. It's very different.
But you need that, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You need that sometimes.
Yeah, it's different, isn't it? If you're just tuning in, we are at ILiveUK.com. If you want to call us up for any questions that you may have, if you want to have any questions for K.I.N.E.T.I.K, ring us at 07564265257. We are live on Mixcloud, Twitch, Spotify, you name it. That's where we are. It's K.I.N.E.T, man. So after that album, he started working with a producer named IMPERAL.
You know, we missed a step.
Oh, well, okay. Well, what have I missed?
So after that, I went to California.
Oh, yes, you did.
I went to California. So back in the early 2000s, I was on message boards online a lot.
Yeah.
And I was on the message board called The Lawn, which was a Justice League who basically, they're a rap group from North Carolina, and they had Little Brother as part of the group. So I was on The Lawn, and I connected with a guy over there called Kudoi Soul. Shout out to Jeremy and his wife Kari. They just had a baby. And he had a very he had a worldview. Even though he was in America, he was always like, yo, like, I love hip hop from Japan, France. I love your voice.
Yeah.
All of that. And one day he said, listen, do you want to do an album together? So I'm thinking, yeah, you know, we're going to transfer the joint. He's like, I got a ticket for you. Come to America. So him and his partner at the time flew me out. I slept in a closet.
In a closet?
Yeah, slept in a closet, bro. But, this is what you got to do. Yeah. We wrote and recorded the album. I mean, the closet was nice, you know. It wasn't like a closet.
You've been to California, Pree. Did you ever sleep in a closet in California?
I mean, it went far off.
It was fun though. Like, we did the album, wrote and recorded it in 10 days. So that album was called Hip Hop Is Forever.
Oh, right. Yes,
and it came out in June 2013.
How did I even forget that?
Yeah. And about 2 years ago, I went to his wedding. I tell you, it was an ill story. I went to his wedding thinking, I'm just a guest. Right? People asking, how did you meet? And we're like, we met on a forum. People looking at us like, a forum?
What kind of forum?
What forum are you talking about? Yeah. But I tell you what was ill, when me and my wife walked in there, he had our names on the top table next to his family.
That's beautiful.
I was like, what? Like, you know, in our culture, the top table is serious, isn't it? Yeah. You know, you're on the top table. Like, I had my name on the top table. Like, he was like, whatever drinks, whatever you want.
You were an honored guest.
Yeah. And I just thought, I'm just coming as a guest. So that friendship remains. We still tap in every once in a while. So no, he's a good dude. He's a good dude, and he's an amazing producer. And that was a great experience because I'm a slow writer. Yeah. So I had a deadline. I had to write and record everything in 10 days. So, you know, I was in the studio at 8 in the morning eating McDonald's, drinking beer. I probably shortened my life through that whole experience.
Right. Does it feel worth it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good album. It was a good album. And it just taught me about living in the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Record it. Don't overthink it. Just record it. I haven't really taken those lessons on now because I still overthink things.
I was going to ask you, that was another thing. I was going to be like, how did that experience then translate into what you're doing now?
You know what it is? If Dr. Dre walked in this room now and said, I got a beat, write a verse, I can do it because of those experiences. And I've got to shout out T1, who actually produced Year of the Underdog, because he gave me like the unofficial boot camp. I used to go to the studio and we had to write on the spot.
Right.
So like I'm talking
to the beat as well.
To the beat, bro. So there was a couple of times I never forget. We did a song called Nothing Personal. It's an unreleased Grand Central song, and I wrote my verse on the spot and did it in one take.
Jeez.
So that it's that kind of training. Do you know what I mean? It's no different to a footballer doing kick-ups or a basketball player shooting threes. It's like if the moment comes and someone needs me to write on the spot, I can write on the spot, and it's because of training like that and going to California.
Wow, that's a crazy experience. And that definitely made you improve as a rapper as well. For sure.
Oh yeah,
That type of pressure is gonna bring out your best work. It can't do anything but that, innit?
And the beats were crafted with me in mind.
Yeah,
you know, it's one thing when you get a beat and you pick it and you're like, it was made for 400 other people.
Yeah.
But when someone says, I made this with you in mind, you have to approach it a certain way.
So you come back from California. What was next for you? You just was planning on a new album, and how did the whole connection with Imperial happen?
So I did an interview with a guy called Proverb the Wise, Earl McNeese, rest in peace. He's since passed away. I did an interview with him, and I actually mentioned Quarantine in there. I'll never forget. I'll send you the link.
That was like 2011.
It was 2012.
Yeah.
And I was just talking about Volume 3 because, again, like I said, Volume 3 just put me on a different type of radar. So people were reaching out for interviews, wanting to talk, and I did this interview with Proverb, and he was just always a good dude, like always helping me. I'm like, why does man always like said like he's like, yo, this label sent me a bunch of albums. I've already got them. Do you want to put them in the post?
Yeah. And
Imperial messaged me one day saying that he had read the interview. And he's been looking to work with an artist like me. I'm paraphrasing. I'm making myself sound way more important than I am.
Do it.
But I tell you what really stood out to me about Imperial. One, his email was so polite.
Right.
Like the layout, the spacing. Like, you know, some people send you an email, it's just like text, like it's mad. When I read his email, the spacing, the paragraphs, I'm like, this guy's got to be working in education. Turns out he's a teacher. At the time, he was a teacher at the time. And he sent me a beat. He was like, I'd love for you to be on my album. So when I heard the beat, it was formatted intro, verse, hook, intro, all the different instruments coming. I'm like, this guy's thought about it. Gladly do it. So we did one song, and it ended up turning into an EP.
And it's interesting your relationship with him, because a lot of your songs, they end up on like adverts, and they end up on like, you get a lot of PRS money from your songs.
I'm doing all right.
Yeah,
I'm doing all right.
What type of adverts?
So
tell people what kind of adverts. Yeah.
So I mean, like I do a lot of sync licensing. So this is basically when you create music for agencies, and the music will sit in a library and they'll pitch it to different brands. So you know, if O2 use MOP Anti-Up, they've got to go to Loud Records. They've got to go to MOP saying we want to use it in this advert.
Right.
And what that world, you know, Imperial got into that world before me. So you know, people would reach out to him for briefs and say, oh, you know, can you do this? And he joined the MCs. He's gonna call his man. So we did stuff. For what was it?
You were on Match of the Day.
Match of the Day twice.
I remember you were on Match of the Day.
Twice,
I remember
bro. And I don't even like football like that. Twice.
Your song was played on when they do the goal tally, the goals of the year,
I
the
heard.
best goals of the year, or the best goals of the month.
Yeah.
I remember your song being played on that.
My song was
I think I texted you when I heard.
did.
Yeah,
and I was going Cuba the next day, so that was a nice.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I had just left Imperial. Like we went to the train station. I just left him, and we found out. So yeah, Match of the Day, the Undateables. The Gadget Show, WWE Raw. When I saw that on the as a big wrestling fan, so I was on WWE Raw, and I'm still pitching stuff, and I just think it's a really cool world because, you know, you call me a legend.
Yeah, I
take pride in. I'm an MC. Like there's certain levels of MCing that kind of get me excited. The thing with sync licensing is that how do you create songs that as much of the world can sing along with you?
Right.
So sometimes you can't go in there and inspect the situation.
No, it don't.
Do you know what I mean? It don't work like that. So when
it's
we
only
did
for a certain demographic.
Right. So when we did the song with EMI, we did an album with EMI. They're like, listen, we're gonna give you access to the whole KPM library.
Okay.
So KPM is a music library, right? So all like man like Alan Hackshaw, rest in peace, who did Grange Hill. Keith Mansfield, who did Grandstand. All these men have music in this library, and the label said you can use whatever you want, sample it. We've cleared it. So it was like De La Soul before they got sued. Use whatever you want. And I remember the label said to me, we want a happy, uplifting, vibrant album. I was depressed at the time. Literally, like, bruv, I was on my face. I'm like, bruv, you man want me to talk about being on top of the world, bruv, and I feel like I'm on the ground.
Yeah.
But that taught me I had to make music, take myself out that situation and make music one that met the brief.
Right.
And that could appeal to that audience. And we did the album in 2 weeks, and that album is still being synced today.
The day that you and I met, where was that?
I don't remember, but I know the situation.
It was after a show, wasn't it?
I know the situation. It was the day Randy Savage died.
And then we spoke about, we had like a commonality with that.
Yeah.
Did I have a Randy Savage shirt on or something?
I tweeted about it.
Okay.
Because I had actually bought the Randy Savage DVD because my first copy got broke.
Yeah.
Ended up broken. And I remember tweeting about it, and that's the day he died. And I remember you tweeting about it, and I'm like, is that raw?
Yeah. I vividly remember you coming up to me and bigging me up about the Truth video. That
Oh, yeah, bro.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bro.
And I think that we started to become the friendship from there.
That video, yeah. That video is one of the case studies in depth and simplicity.
Oh, thank you.
It's a very simple video.
I know. It's funny, right? Because I tell people all the time, like sometimes, I think that was one of my biggest learning lessons in the music game. That sometimes you don't have to do all the flashiness, or you don't have to put thousands upon pounds to make your video look good to get noticed or get recognition.
Bro,
like sometimes a really simple
The Truth, man.
video.
I remember watching it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, I remember where I was, man.
Yeah.
Like, I remember where I was. Like that video is crazy, man.
Didn't it get like a not an award, but
It was nominated for best urban music video.
I
lost to Tally Temper.
It's not bad though.
I showed up.
That's not
I
bad.
showed up to the award ceremony wearing a suit, thinking I was gonna win.
As you should.
You should
As
go
you
in
should.
a suit, man.
I literally
Of
thought I was gonna
course.
win.
What was you supposed to come in?
I know, but I was just like, and then
Come on,
when I
man.
see- and then you know what annoyed me?
Go in a suit, man. Always
Tiny
look your
Temper
best.
didn't even show up.
That's fine.
It was me and Riz.
Whatever.
Me and Riz. You know Riz Ahmed.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and him were in the.
Bro,
we were
it's-
both
it's-
nominated together.
It's an achievement, bro, and I have to salute you because I remember when I came to your launch party.
Yeah.
I came after work, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I came thinking, yeah, it's a launch party. I'm gonna support my mans. When I saw the amount of people at this party, I said, "What?"
Was that the one in Hoxton?
Yes,
That's the one that I managed.
I said, "Yo."
Yeah, that was sick still.
Bro, it was like the place was packed out.
yeah.
I wanted to get on the mic so bad that night.
Yeah, I mean, it would have gone into a big cipher if something madness didn't happen.
That wouldn't have been the worst thing.
Listen,
that wouldn't have been the worst thing.
Yeah,
bro, that was him.
Some madness
that was
popped
impressive.
up that night, so we had to cut it short. But yeah, that was a good night.
That was really impressive.
Cheers, my brother. I'm gonna play a song from you and Imperial called "Just the Way I Feel."
Our least liked song.
You don't like this tune?
Why?
It's not that we don't like it. It's, you know, when you're finding your formula, it's like we realize, yeah, let's keep the lovey-dovey stuff to the house. Yeah, to
I thought this might be about somebody special.
It is
that you end up getting married to.
It's part autobiographical. I can't remember which verse was specifically about my wife, but yeah, it's part biographical.
That's how heartfelt.
It's just the way I feel. Sharing the love so real. It's just the way I feel. Sharing the love so real. It's just the way I feel. Sharing the love so real.
I met her years ago, but I just didn't see how she or anyone could ever numb the pimp in me. Love is a game, and so I guess we're playing football, cause she is in the Premiership and I am in Division 3. People thinking she is well above my weight class. I had to take a chance and try and make it last. And falling in love is beautiful and dangerous, but what we have is more than the usual relationships. There's not a night that goes by I never dream of her. Plus she cooks good and she makes a mean copper. I call her PG, my personal genie, and I'm certain that she'll need me when the nights are getting colder. I like to hold her and make her feel protected. Physically and spiritually, we're literally connected. And no soliloquy could ever describe the way this woman is really making me feel on the inside.
It's just the way I feel. Sharing the love so real.
The internet's #1 on the worldwide web. iLive Radio.
I hate it when we tiff and bicker. It's not about who's right, cause that'll make us lose sight of the bigger picture. It's immature, the way in which we pick at flaws, when in reality we need to sit and listen more. It's like we're only beefing and fussing. I remember when we used to speak and discuss things, and I don't wanna change you, but the truth is we're both in need of tweaks and adjustments. Trial and error, we'll learn more as we're going through our transition. Just know I understand the vision. I see us with the future and it feels right. We were great on paper, but we're even better in real life. So even when I'm moody and annoyed, the past 16 months have truly been a joy. And that's why I can never up and end it. My life is so much better because of your love and friendship. Listen, yo, I know I grin, smirk and I laugh so people think I'm never stressed. But honestly at night time I can never rest. Alone in a zone and I'm headed for an unknown destination. I've made a home in my desperation. I listen close and I hear my heart beating with the rhythm out of time. It's like I'm going out my mind, wishing for consolation, uncertain it'll ever come. Yes, I'm the pessimist that's yet to feel heaven's bliss. And ever since the death of the woman that raised me, life isn't the same. It's like a prison in the brain, cause it was so unsuspected. It left me unprotected. I lost all faith, forgive me for being a skeptic. But when she took her last breath, I kissed her on the cheek, and I can see her in my head just like a picture on repeat. I'm haunted by the memory and desolate in solitude. Melancholy mind state, I'm sinking in the somber mood.
Happiness is almost near. It's only down the road. We can't give up now. When the clouds show things will brighten up. I can see now.
Yeah, I know I bring smirks and I laugh so people think I'm never stressed. But truthfully, when I'm alone, I can never rest. Sat in a quiet place and listening to sad tunes. That's when I'm mourning, absorbing all of the bad news. I keep the black suit cleaned as per usual, cause every other week I'm at another funeral. Seeing so many friends and family just pass away. I wanna talk to God, but I find it hard to pray. I heard the pastor say the better days are coming soon. I can't believe him and my reasoning is apprehensive, cause anytime I try and snatch a scrap of happiness, it doesn't last long, and before I know it, it's passed on. I always used to find the blessing in the tragedy, but gradually the agony had me losing my sanity. So here I am, stuck and knee deep in deep depression, seeking affection and needing a lease of redirection.
Happiness is almost near. It's only down the road. We can't give up now. When the clouds show things will brighten up. I can see now. I can see the sunshine. I can see the sunshine. I can see the sunshine. I can see the sunshine.
Tone Richardson, man. See the Sunshine, Kinetic. That was Kinetic featuring Tone Richardson. See the Sunshine. Before then, we played Kinetic and Imperial. This is How I Feel.
Yep, that's what it's called.
And before I ask you questions about both songs, I'm just going to give a quick shout out. We've got a little bit of shout out coming up here. Hi Skillet, can I get a shout out to the 01204 and Dean Road Mandem?
Sonny, don't say I never do nothing for you. That's for you.
Thank you for that. Is that where's that from, Manny?
That's, well, kinda Bolton.
Shout out to Bolton.
Big up to guys in the Bolton.
No, I got people down in Bolton. Respect to Bolton.
Bolton don't get many shout outs, so
They actually
they'll
don't.
appreciate
Bolton
that.
don't get appreciated. Even their football team didn't get much love. So.
Yeah, it's a bit peak for them still.
Big up Bolton.
Look of it.
Also, I just wanted to remind you that this show is sponsored by Tim Peace. A successful mind is a meaningful mind. So, thank you very much, Tim. Kinetic.
Yes, sir.
That last song, See the Sunshine, when I played it, I could see that you got a bit emotional. Even what you're saying in the song is very emotional. What does that song mean to you? Was that anything in specific with who you were talking about? It seems like you were talking about some people that you knew in your life.
Yeah, so that's one of the first songs I ever did with T1.
Yeah.
I brought him that sample.
Right.
One Way.
Right.
By, is it Atlantic Star?
Yeah.
So I brought the sample to him after hearing Sleep Well by Cormega. That's a little plug. But yeah, I was going through like that part of my life there was a lot of loss. So it was like a few years after my grandma died. So that's why I said after the death of the woman that raised me, I mentioned her before. You know, my best friend moved to New York. Break up at the time. So loss in different ways. And what that meant is that I became an introvert.
Right.
So I sat in my room for years just listening to music, immersing myself and just soaking up knowledge about the things I cared about. There was a point where I stopped going to funerals because I just kept, there's so many funerals.
Right.
So that's why I say I keep the black suit cleaned as per usual. Yeah, and I just think being young as well, I didn't know how to process feelings.
How old was you when you wrote those?
That was 2012. So I was 2012, just 28.
Okay, yeah.
I was about 28. So it's when I've lived quite a sheltered life, growing up in like, you know, a 2-parent home, grandparents, church. So a lot of the stuff that I learned later on in life, a lot of my peers learned that early because they weren't as protected as I was.
Right.
So when certain life things happened to me, I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, you don't have to handle it. Yeah,
it's almost like this is the end of the world.
The stronger your foundations, the more they can be shook. Right?
Yeah,
like, in a sense, like
So I was going through a bit, and I think I was also a bit melodramatic. You know, sometimes as artists, oh my god, woe is me. You know,
but definitely.
And I was a big Joe Budden fan at the time.
I had a little bit of that as well.
Yeah, it happens.
Pree will tell you. I had a little bit like we artists. I don't know. I don't want to speak for every artist because everybody's different. But a lot of us artists, I don't know what it is. We're so overprotective about everything.
Yeah,
like,
we're sensitive people.
If we lose a little bit of control,
but if people don't understand how artists need, like what it is that artists are doing, like when you go into the booth, when you make a track, you're legit putting your heart and soul out there. And I think people that have never done that, they listen to music and they don't appreciate the journey that's gone, how, you know what I mean? Even not even just length of time, but the process of it. And so when you do that, I don't know, I think people don't really understand, unless you've been in the studio and you've legit spoke your deepest, darkest feelings into a mic, knowing that it's being recorded, knowing that's going to go out there.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's good.
100% right.
Some good gems there.
Yeah, man. Go on.
You're welcome, everyone.
I need to write something for you. Sure.
Yeah. I feel like Pree should write a book. I've been telling her this for a minute still.
You really have, to be fair. I do need to write. I mean, there's some ideas in the making.
Right.
Yeah, there is some ideas in the making.
I mean, it takes a long time for authors to...
Yeah.
As you know, my fellow creatives.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, the seasoning takes a while, but you know, the meal is always worth it at the end.
Ooh, a food analogy. You know, I like that shit.
Pree is a big foodie.
I like foods. I have missed no meals, trust me.
So this song is you and Jaunty. It's called Closer. It was on Jaunty's album.
Wow. Wow. I've not heard this in a minute.
Let's just pop.
I'm gonna pull it up.
Yes,
you know what it is?
please.
When I heard the beginning of the beat, I'm like, what song is this again?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't heard this in a while. Shout out to Jaunty, man.
Yeah,
talented guy.
Yeah, very talented guy.
One of the most unique people you'll ever meet. Like, not just rhyme style, his perspective.
And as a person.
I've got a lot of respect for him. There's been times I've been going through personal things.
You know what it is as well? This is going to be a really wild thing to say, but anybody has a bad thing to say about Jaunty.
Oh, no, you're a liar.
They're lying.
Oh, no, we'll bang him in.
Yeah, they're lying.
Yeah, you should go back to the upside down. You're a liar. Go back over there.
You're a cheat. Get out of here, man.
All right, so I'm going to play this joint.
Cool.
And I'm going to play this tune, and then we'll probably be joining to commercials soon. So we'll see if I can squeeze in a couple songs before commercial.
Yes, please.
All right.
Yeah. And one day closer to the truth, running towards the answer. Word to Lucky, cause he run faster. Closer to peace of mind, that's what I'm after. But if you had a piece of my mind, you'd probably need the pie chart. So my hand hugs the pen like a martyr. I sketch the art, maybe one day I'll draw a gallardo. You hear the song, it means I'm closer to your shit, the Minarco. Closer to the man getting rid of me. Sickening, it's strictly business, never personal. Learned that from EMP. Trying to stack the P, the government is trying to take the P. Therapy, slow they take the door away from OAPs. I'm closer to hearing in the sky. Maybe I'll look just enough, losing fear of light. Come in my window like my tomorrow, bring a dearer wife. Closer to sharing if the pairing is right. I'm closer to another dawn, another day, another night. I'm one day closer. Another ball, another rain, another life. I'm one day closer. Closer. I'm one day closer. I'm one day closer to everything.
Yeah, I'm getting closer to having all of my questions answered. Closer to a place where there's no stress or dramas. Closer to Jehovah, no more scratching my head, cause then I would have found out what really happens when we're dead. Whether I see a postponed or early fate, whether I walk through or have to pick the locks at the pearly gates. I'm close to seeing my loved ones that passed away, and this is hard to say, but rest in peace to Pastor Ray. It's barely been a week since you took your last breath. I never thought I'd talk about you in the past tense. There's no shortcuts, so every day I'm trying to find my way from what I want to what the Lord does. Closer to a state of acceptance, closer to the end of me living my days reckless and knowing what's invested in me. I'm closer to becoming that man that I was destined to be. Closer.
Another dawn, another day, another night.
I'm one day closer.
Another ball, another rain, another life.
I'm one day closer. Closer. I'm one day closer. I'm one day closer to everything.
Like conscious of mind, knowledge desire of what tomorrow will hide. What will I find? More than nothing inside. My spirit sky past the dark 65s are harsh to divide. I'm crossing the now to pass this divide. Uphill I climb. Yeah, closer to you. At Aaron Jonesy, get closer to this dude. Lean over the balcony, get a closer view. Rewind the rhyme, dissect meaning number 2. I'm closer, leveraging blessings with weapons of words. Never forgetting the lessons I've learned. Left the apprentice, but legend happy endeavors for whatever it's worth. No, I have a little more time left than I'm next. Got ways to get off my chest for righteous. Call me Father Lordy and I rest on like it.
Generation, and it's cause they see too many broken homes with a missing man, and that's something I won't condone. Too many kids are singing Dear Mama cause their papa was a rolling stone. So when you're balling in the bars and clubs, it could be your child that's balling for their father's love. You passed the buck and such, left scars and cuts. At least one heart is crushed from a Harvard grudge. And I don't wanna start to judge, but isn't it insane how you're content just being a figment in the brain? A faded picture cause you're missing within the frame. Your ways are crazy, you need to do your job and raise your babies by providing them protection with signs of affection, especially in times of correction. But following conception, you thought it was done. Don't ignore it and run, be there for your daughter and son.
If ever you were to leave, my love, let it down. If ever you were to leave, my love.
I think it's outlandish and vile how a father can abandon their child. Them stand as a foul, and as a man I'll never understand how some of us could even bring a life into existence only to sacrifice it in an instant. And now you're just an empty space on the birth certificate, a man without a face, and yes, the woman hurts and lives with it. So isn't it a shame when you're sowing your wild oats, your child grows labeled as a number or without a hope? Haven't been heard from or seen in months. Years pass and child thinks I haven't seen him once. No cards on the birthday or presents when it's Christmas. They really need your presence but you missed it. Instead of abstinence or safe sex, you play chess with latex. And now it's either CSA checks or DNA tests. But fatherhood is sacred and nurture is important, so negating your role is even worse than abortion.
If ever you were to leave, my love, let it down.
We're living in a fast food nation when nothing's really growing. Need everything now, but we don't know where we're going. The blind leads the blind, needs everything instant. Our minds in decline, and that's just one of the symptoms. Everything's disposable, fads and trends. Things are in one week and then out the next. TV's giving us pointless facts instead, trying to pump fear so they can attack our heads. Dead servicemen overseas get press attention, but back home young men's deaths ain't mentioned. Work till you're 65 to get your pension. The mortgage is 25, so it's best you're renting. And stress prevention is hard, mate. We live in the fast lane where some snort cane just to pass days. The iPod generation, so we're facing a lifetime of electronical goods in the waste. It's the fast food nation, machines still raging. We're way too impatient, nothing's no longer sacred. Big dreams that we're chasing, it's all so contagious. We're trapped in the matrix. The fast food nation, the fast food nation, machines still raging. We're way too impatient, nothing's no longer sacred. Big dreams that we're chasing, it's all so contagious. We're trapped in the matrix. The fast food nation, it's Great Britain, a creation of plunder. A fast food nation with insatiable hunger. No time for preparation, cause they're saying it's longer. Pumping chickens with steroids so that they can get stronger. Everything's bigger, larger, even supersized. There's no substance, trust see it through your eyes. A slow death, full of chicken shops and off licenses. It's hopeless, seems like we lost our path of righteousness. We don't forgive and forget about regrets. Rather sit in a cell just to settle up the debt, or just to get a rep. It's taking the next effect, where raising up a tech gets a man enough respect. We need to slow down our environment's mess. Take control before nothing is left. Plus the circle of violence is frightening, especially when tried as patronizing in the art of enlightenment. It's the fast food nation, machines still raging. We're way too impatient, nothing's no longer sacred. Big dreams that we're chasing, it's all so contagious. We're trapped in the matrix. The fast food nation, the fast food nation, machines still raging. We're way too impatient, nothing's no longer sacred. Big dreams that we're chasing, it's all so contagious. We're trapped in the matrix. The fast food nation, cause everybody rhymes now and that includes me. Everybody wants to die famous like Bruce Lee. It's the celeb culture, your 50 minutes of fame, but in years to come no one will remember your name. It's about preparation like a 5-star meal. A presentation for £5 is a steal. See, music is useless unless you put the work in. No point rushing, take your time, it deserves it. They're trying to eat grinds, but they're deep pound a week, fam. I told you, I'm rap soul food for the streets, man. My music never reminiscent of the golden arches. You should listen to the vision of a golden artist. My flow's the hardest, had them cool from the start. I'm just trying to make some tunes that are straight from the heart. And I do this for the love, I take my time with the art. We'll maneuver to the clubs and then climb up the chart. It's the fast food nation, machines still raging. We're way too impatient, nothing's no longer sacred. Big dreams that we're chasing, it's all so contagious. We're trapped in the matrix. The fast food nation, the fast food nation, machines still raging. We're way too impatient, nothing's no longer sacred. Big dreams that we're chasing, it's all so
Alright, so we're gonna go to an advert break soon.
It's the fast food nation, machines still raging. We're way too impatient, nothing's no longer sacred. Big dreams that we're chasing, it's all so contagious. We're trapped in the matrix.
What you're hearing right now is Mentalist, Fast Food Nation, big up Mentalist. K.I.N.E.T.I.K, how you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. You've taken me down memory lane.
I was gonna say, you look like you went on a journey, especially on the first one. I saw you like listening intently.
Yeah, a lot of those songs I've not listened to them in years.
Right.
It's made me kind of really appreciate the journey, man.
Yeah.
The journey, you know.
We appreciate you, man. Like, thank you for producing all those years of your art, man.
Bro, this is the first radio show you've done, right?
This is my first ever radio show.
Bro, and you invited me.
Yeah, you're guest number one.
Nah.
Like Kinetic.
What's wrong with that?
Nah, listen, I'm humbled, bro. Seriously humbled. Because your black book is serious. Like, your black book is very, very serious. There's so many people you could have had here.
Tell him again. Tell him again.
No, your black book
he
serious,
don't
bro.
understand.
You know everybody, bro. You see Skillit's name, it's like a cheat code. Like, I've been in situations where I tell people I know you. And they will welcome me and they say, "Oh, you know Skillit, you're cool."
I appreciate that.
Your name holds power, bro. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming, man. I appreciate you coming. This is what it's all about. It's all about showcasing. It's called Skillit's World for a reason. It's not. It's my world.
Yeah.
So I'm inviting people to my world, and it's about inviting people that I know.
Scared.
Yeah, like, and I'm doing this whole thing where it's like random co-hosts. So like Pree is a good friend of mine who I think she can contribute. So I'm inviting her, and then I'll have someone else in the chair, and then I'll have someone else, but they'll
I'll be the best,
and they'll be back.
But yeah, you will.
And they'll be back. But yeah, no, it's my world. So and you're part of my world. You're part of my world, bro. When we get back from the advert break, we're going to talk to you about you transitioning to becoming a podcaster. We're going to talk about your love for wrestling. I'm going to have a bit of a kind of random question round out, throw out to you. Random questions you got to answer just like that. Rapid questions, and we'll just have a bit of a fun time on the second part. Obviously, clearly stalling times because I'm waiting for the cue for the advert to start. So before that starts,
why are you looking at me?
Yeah, I was like,
why are you looking at me, Skillet?
Priya, how's New Cross going?
I mean, New Cross is New Crossing.
Yeah.
People be crossing. And then be untangling.
There's a good
and then they be crossing again.
Isn't there a great place in New Cross called Jerk?
Smoky Jerky.
Smoky Jerky.
You giving Smoky Jerky a shout out? I will give Smoky Jerky a shout out.
To Smoky Jerkies. And if you like Smoky Jerkies, guys, call the number at 07564.
You don't know what the backside are saying.
Perfect. Changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
This is Emerson, and you're locked into iLive Radio. Keep it locked.
This is Felicia Temple, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
What's up, everybody? This is Indie Soulstress Gwen Yvette on iLive Radio, the station that supports independent artists and their music.
Are you looking for that feel-good music? The kind of music that makes you want to share with your friends? Then you've been looking for iLive Radio, your number one source for music lovers worldwide, playing a variety of hits from soul, reggae, gospel, jazz, hip-hop, funk, and everything in between. Download the iLive Radio app now and listen to us when you're on the go. Available on iTunes and the Google Play Store. You can also listen live on TuneIn and Alexa. iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
This is Lightworks with V Swizzle. She's a hip-hop geek influenced by Dilla Beats. Tune into her show each and every Monday, 8 till 10 p.m. on iLive Radio UK, where the vibe is funky, chunky beats interwoven with lost funk hits for sound innovation. This is Lightworks with V Swizzle on iLive Radio UK.
Tune in to JC's Progressive Soul every Monday, 10 till midnight with me, JC, playing the best in soul and soulful hip-hop, from the classic to the rare, blended with the neo and progressive, celebrating legends past and present. That's JC's Progressive Soul every Monday, 10 p.m. till midnight.
We're starting up, now we're on our way.
Hi, I'm DJ Illusion. Join me every Tuesday between 7 and 9 p.m. UK time, right here on iLive Radio with The Flashback Show, changing the way you listen to music.
Yeah, iLive Radio.
The Flashback Show across the World Wide Web.
iLive Radio.
The days when the nights we
Welcome to iLive UK. This is Deep Sound here, telling you to tune in to the Beats and Bass Show every Tuesday, 9 to 11, showcasing the best in 140 dubstep and grime, and sometimes going across the board, featuring guest mixes, artists, and guest DJs. So tell a friend, every Tuesday, 9 to 11, Beats and Bass Show on iLive UK, changing the way you listen to music.
iLive UK want to hear from you. You can get in touch by calling us on 0208 638 8503, or you can send a WhatsApp message, text only, to 07564 265 257. You can watch us live on Twitch and Mixcloud, and whenever you miss a show, you can listen back via our podcast page at ilivuk.com. Don't forget to download our iLive Radio Network app from the Google Store and take us on the road with you. It's iLive UK across all platforms, changing the way you listen to radio.
You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
And we are back into Skillit's World. We are back. Ooh. Thank you for everyone that's been listening. I'm just going to play a quick tune from the new Kendrick Lamar album. This is one of my favorite songs of the album. It's called We Cry Together. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a bit of a controversial one, but I love it.
what the world sounds.
Confrontational. You wanna bring it down, even when I'm trying to do right. We can go our separate ways right now. You can move on with your life.
You love a pity party, I won't show up. Always act like your don't stink. Grow up, forever late, won't buy. Sit around and deny. Round on a side, then come.
You must be bleeding and some more. Don't know your feelings.
You want some? See, I don't know why you like playing mind games with me. I ain't slow nor dizzy. I know when you being distant. I know when you fake dizzy. Get out your feelings and miss me with that reverse psychology.
Man, you tripping? Who got you that rolly chain?
And who put that car in my name?
But you think I'ma kiss your?
Nah, you lame.
You know what? Pop the pain away, I slide the pain away. I pop the pain away, I slide the pain away.
Shout out to Georgina. Big up to Georgina. Thank you for being locked in. You are locked into Skillit's World right now with my guest K.I.N.E.T.I.K and my co-host Pree Preein. Thank you.
I hope you see the God in me. I hope you can see it. And if it's up, stay down for me.
Sherry, cocoa bar, Serafina, flaming eyes. Where I'd be without you, love. Rest your wings and trust I feel you deep.
Do you love me? Do you trust me? Can I trust you? Don't judge me. I'ma die hard. It gets ugly. Too passionate. It gets ugly. I wonder where I lost my way. Been waiting on your call all day. Tell me you in my corner right now. When I fall short, I'm leaning on you to cry out. We all got enough to lie about. My truth too complicated to hide now. Can I open up? Is it safe or not? I'm afraid a little you relate or not. Have faith a little. I might take my time. Ain't no saving face this time.
I hope I'm not too late to set my demons straight. I know I made you wait, but how much can you take? I hope you see the God in me. I hope you can see it. And if it's up, stay down for me. Yeah.
Sherry, cocoa bar, Serafina, flaming eyes. Where I'd be without you, love. Rest your wings and trust I feel you deep.
I got some regrets, but my past won't keep me from my best. Subtle mistakes felt like life or death. I wanna see the family stronger. I wanna see the money longer. You know that I die for you.
All right, so we're back at Skillit World. If anybody wants to give a live call into the show, please ring us at 07-564-265-257. That's if you want. I'm still here with K.I.N.E.T.I.K and Pree. K.I.N.E.T.I.K, how are you?
I am good, man. I'm here. I'm feeling nice.
I was gonna ask you, man, like after your various different album releases and projects that you've put out, what made you want to transition into doing podcasts?
2 reasons. First one is you.
Okay.
So
okay,
we were at our friend's wedding. Shout out to Jaunty again.
Yeah, big up Jaunty.
We were on a beach.
We were in Jamaica.
A beach in Jamaica.
Yeah.
And Skillit finds me funny, which I find funny because he's funny, right? So when funny people find someone else funny, you must be funny,
right?
So Skillit said to me, "Nah, K.I.N.E.T.I.K, man, you should start a podcast." And it just went through in one ear and out the other. Like I'd listening to the Kick Out and stuff, and I just thought, we'll see. because I wasn't really sure what a podcast was even at that time. And the second part to the story is I was at home, so I was going through a really rough phase in my life. I had been made redundant for my job.
Yeah.
So in the space of this time, you know, just got engaged. My wife's dad had passed, so that was a trying time in various ways, mainly for her.
Right.
And then, you know, you've got this flat that you've just bought. Now you got to pay for this joint. So I was going through it was serious depression, man. Like I was in the house watching Everyday Struggle, eating breaded chicken, put on mad weight, looked like a carnival float. Do you know what I mean?
That oven food look there.
Listen, I used to bang off the you know, the garlic bread baguette.
Yeah.
I used to box off one of them.
Iceland food, yeah.
What? I boxed off one of them by myself. Anyway, so one day I was watching a wrestling match,
right?
And I was calling the spots in the match. So my wife was like, "How do you know this?" I said, "Because I know it." She's like, "You know, you got so much information about useless things. You should start a podcast." So she, you know what?
Roxy.
Come on, man. So not only did she just encourage me to do that, she bought me a ticket to a show called PodX, and I went there. People from like Radio 1 Extra was there, yada yada yada. And it so happens at the time, a good friend of mine, Sumit Sharma, who used to do the Hip Hop Chronicle, wanted to do a podcast
Sumit,
too.
man. Nah, let's talk about Sumit.
Yeah,
he's a legend. Absolute. His Hip Hop Chronicle series that he used to do. He put
a lot of us on, you know.
He put loads of us on. He had his ear to the streets in America. He had all the connections, so he interviewed all the American hip hop artists.
He was the first one to interview Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And then he would interview us.
Ice Cube. This is what, bruv. I remember being on his site, being next to people like Ice Cube. I'm like, huh? I tell you the realest thing he ever did for me. He had an interview with Odyssey, he's one of my favorite artists, and he called me one day. He's like, "You know his music, right?" I said, "Yeah, I love him." He's like, "You do the interview."
Yeah, Sumit,
I said, what?
Sumit,
man? He brought Odyssey to my office, bruv.
Yeah,
I'm like, bruv, I was just listening to your tune. How are you in my office? And then we went Nando's afterwards with Odyssey. Sick. Big up to Sumit. I hate him though. But we did the podcast together. We sat in Vapiano's, came up with some names for the podcast over some pasta. And originally we were a podcast that just talked about life, retro stuff, you know, just stuff that we wanted to talk about. And then one day he had the all-seeing idea. He's like, listen, man, what's the one thing we talk about so easily that puts a spark in our eye? Hip-hop.
Hip-hop, yeah.
He's like, yeah, let's just be a hip-hop podcast now. So we changed directions and we started interviewing legends, and things just took off from there, and it really hit a crescendo with last year's narrative series with Reasonable Doubt.
I was just going to ask you about that, because, you know, you've always drawn legendary hip-hop guests into your podcast, but I feel like it really went to another level with listenerships and people tuning in and subscribing to your podcast when you did the Reasonable Doubt Jay-Z series, which was arguably one of the best things I've ever heard. I was hooked. I listened to each episode back to back, bruv. And when I haven't had a podcast do that to me since Serial. I don't know if you remember a podcast called Serial.
Yeah, that's like
Serial was a podcast about.
Do I need to get onto this?
Listen, it's a mad podcast. It was a podcast about a murder that happened in Baltimore.
Yeah.
Back in 1999 or 2000? No, 2001.
It's one of those.
After 2001, yeah.
It's one of those. It's one of those.
And it's like the guy they talk about. It's like, did he do it? Did he not?
Skillet, you always try to get me on these mad things. Like
so I've literally, and I'm a podcast guy, but I don't binge apart from maybe like Bruce Pritchard's podcast.
Okay,
something to wrestle with.
Yeah, you love that one.
I do love that, but I don't really binge podcasts. But Serial and your Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt series, and then you did a follow-up with the Blueprint.
Funny story, the day we finished episode 5 of Reasonable Doubt, we got a message from Young Guru.
Yeah.
When am I coming on the podcast?
Yeah.
So we said that we were going to take a few weeks off. We started the Blueprint series the day we finished Reasonable Doubt. Like 8 hours later, we were on the phone with Young Guru. But I have to salute Sumit, because Sumit was the one who had the idea to do it. I remember he called me one day and he's like, I'm going to put the information. We'll probably do it. He was like, yo, we should do a series on Marsburg, Rock Marcy.
Okay.
And then I said to him, hold on, what do you mean? And he started talking about doing a narrative podcast series, interview, sound design. I'm like, cool. I'm like, this year's the 25th anniversary of Reasonable Doubt.
Right. Let's just do that.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So we did that in 2 months.
Didn't Jay-Z share it or something? Am I right about that?
No, but we have it on really good word that he heard it.
Yeah.
He heard it.
Yeah.
Oof.
He's aware.
Because it got loads of attention. Loads of attention.
It got us in the industry, bro. It got us jobs.
Yeah.
That podcast series got us jobs.
What more jobs in podcasting?
Now I'm an audio producer full time.
And that's what led to that.
That series
That's
started.
amazing.
That's
man. I
amazing.
love that for you.
That
man.
series
I
got
love
us
that
jobs.
for you.
I think stories like that are so important for people like you to tell, because there's probably so many people, and there could be people listening that, you know, have been doing rap or been doing music or whatever, and they're wanting to try and translate their skills to something else, and they just don't know how to make that jump. But then you're here.
I mean, it's transferable skills. It's like, I rap, but I'm a writer. And I've always told people I never wanted to be the best rapper. I always wanted to be the best writer. Because if you're a great writer, that means you can write songs, journals. I didn't know how to write a podcast script. I wrote a podcast script for 5 episodes. I just wrote it.
Yeah.
When people said, "Yo, who wrote that?"
Yeah.
I said, "I did." They were like, "Did you go to the Gimlet School of Podcast Script?" And I said, "What's that?"
The Gimlet School.
The Gimlet.
The Gimlet's actually a podcast
Okay, I
network.
thought you made that up. I'm not
No,
gonna
it's a
lie.
serious thing.
It sounded like you made it up.
No,
the Gimlet
it's a
School.
very real place. It's like the Upside Down. It's a very real place.
Okay.
People said to me, "Did you do that?" And I said, "No, I just wrote it." So all these years of like writing, listening to albums, writing songs, I have an idea about sequencing and pacing and all these types of things, and it just came second nature to me. But I got to salute Sumit because he had the vision to do it.
Right.
He had the vision to do it, and it's opened up. Like to this day, I'm getting opportunities of like people who will hire me for work.
Yeah.
Like someone told me last week that should have been a documentary. Like someone should have put money into that and put
Still
it on
can
the
be.
television.
Still
and
can
it
be.
still can be.
Definitely still can be.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that.
Anybody
Someone
wanting to
should
put money
add
to that?
visuals to that for sure.
That
There
changed
should be
my
a
life, though.
YouTube. There's so many talented YouTubers out there that will they will just make content like that. And I hope someone has listened to your podcast and add the visuals to what you guys are talking about.
That's where I would love to end up, like in the documentary making space.
Yeah.
Because I got ideas.
So from that, you do stuff with BBC Sounds now, is that right?
How We Hustle with Yanni.
This is brilliant.
Yeah, I'm doing.
Tell me about that. So when did you get the call for that?
I was in Jamaica last year, and I spoke to, shout out to Andrew Spence, Unedited. He had heard about me, and this is why it's really important that we share each other's work.
Yeah.
Especially when we like each other's work.
Yeah.
So someone had told him about me. Shout out to Wayland Mackenzie Witter, who put a word in for me and said, "Yo, this brother's is a good brother, serious brother." And I had a talk with him, and then one day Andrew was like, "We've got this podcast. It's called How We Hustle. Interested?"
And you were like, yeah, hell yeah.
I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've come on board, and I love like, bro, I look forward to Mondays again.
I'm glad to hear that.
Like
bro.
I look forward to Mondays. On this show, it's basically a show where Yanni hosts, the CEO of Yanamize. He basically talks to celebrities and stars about their side hustles and how they've transitioned from one career into the next.
He's that car enthusiast.
Car fanatic.
Yeah, he's got a massive
Bruv, his car
following
is
cars.
mad.
Yeah.
His car sound like the 10 Commandments when the engine starts.
Right.
We've had, in terms of guests, we've had JME.
Okay.
Who else have we had? JME, Tiffany Calver.
Okay.
Poet. Shout out to
Shout out to Poet.
Shout
Big
out
up
to Poet.
Respect
We've
to
had
Poet.
DMO DJ. We've got some real J2K. We just had him in the studio as well, and it's just dope being in that space because I'm putting shows together, and it's really gonna lead to the point where I don't want to be in front of the mic that much anymore. I want to be behind the scenes producing shows, but I now have the opportunity to do that.
That's not the only thing you're kind of working on right now. You're also working on a wrestling venture as well. Talk to me about that.
Pro Wrestling East.
Pro Wrestling East.
Yeah, so I got to shout out Imperial. Cambridge has almost become like my second home.
Right.
And I often say to people, London is a very busy place full of a lot of creative people. You can get lost in the mix sometimes. But when I go to Cambridge, I'm a star. And I remember when I went to Cambridge with my missus one time, and I was walking down the street and someone recognized me, and she's like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I do.
Big ups to Roxy again.
I do a lot of things in Cambridge, and one of my partners in PW is a guy called Tom Simpkins. So he was the host of BBC Introducing, and he put me on the Secret Garden party stage and all that. And then we just, we had mutual friends. We love wrestling. And then one day we just like set up a wrestling promotion, bro. It's happened so fast. I can't tell you where I was or what I was doing. I just ended up in it.
You did a show recently, didn't you?
We did.
A couple of weeks back.
Last week.
Okay,
yeah, last week we had it was called, what was the show called again? Wow, I'd have to forget.
Well, you're busy.
The one before was Out of the Ashes. I can't remember what this one's called, but it was our third show. So we're crowning our world champion this year.
Wicked. I need to come down and visit, man.
No, you're bro. The minute you just say I'm there, don't even just end up there.
Yeah,
you're sorted. But you know what? It's really dope being a wrestling promoter because it's really taught me more about the game. Even though I've been watching it for years, it showed me that you can sit there and watch Monday Night Raw and criticize, but there's so much that goes into the backstage element of things. You know, you're talking about you have to get a medic. People have to be paid. You have to work on finishes.
It is. It's hard work, man.
It's hard work. It's hard work, bro. But I really want to get in the ring at one point.
I was going to ask, you want to train?
I think I want one match.
Okay.
I want one.
Do you know what you should do? Ryan, do you remember you did a video that was like you in a boxing match, in a wrestling match?
Yeah,
and like you should do like a follow up to that, but then it's kinetic in there.
I think you and I should have a match one day.
Oh my God, yes.
We should train for a year.
Well, we'll see.
You and me should have. I think it'll be so entertaining, bro. But I definitely want to have a match. But it's really made me appreciate what some of our favorite wrestlers went through when we were growing up.
Oh, 100.
You know, we're sitting there watching it. Yeah, man, boss his head, lick him in the head with the chair. And now you're old. You're kind of like, I really appreciate what wrestlers go through.
Yeah, they're taxing on their body, man.
Yeah, bro, and on the mind.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I really appreciate them. But yes, it's hard work, but I'm having fun, man.
So, you and Sumit.
Yes.
What's next for that after the podcast series? Are you looking to do any visual? Because you know, it's a lot of people. I'm sure you get a lot of questions about doing visual content for your podcast. I mean, I know you do that via with the Zoom chats, you know, the online interviews. But would you ever think about, now that you know restrictions are kind of out of the way, and if you get any local guests instead of, because I know you get a lot of guests from the States, so stateside that might be difficult. But if you were to interview any artists from the UK, would you ever think about doing it in the studio space?
Yeah. Breaking Atoms is a 2-man operation, so it's all funded by us. So we don't with for example, you know, Sumit's working on Amazon projects,
right?
Radio 4. I'm working on BBC stuff, so we just don't have the time.
Yeah.
I think we'd literally have to hire someone to do that. And it's a good position to be in, to say, listen, you need to hire somebody. That's dope. We do have some ideas, even if it's not a video content every week. Maybe to do some like one-off specials. But there's some things in the work about in terms of making the Breaking Atoms experience a lot more interactive. We got some fun stuff.
Can I ask you a question? How did you come up with that name?
Sumit. Yeah. So some of the names we had like 16-bit banter, pasta and conversation, because we was in Vapiano's eating pasta.
Okay.
And I should pull up some of these old names. Yeah. And one day he called me. He said Breaking Atoms, and I just felt something in my chest. Because Breaking Atoms is the name of a hip hop album.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's like, yo, Chris, like the way we break things down, like that name like exemplifies what we do.
Right.
Yeah. Break it down to the granular, the essence of what it is.
Because our thing is we break things down to the last compound.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna run with it. And it was also like, you know, when Commissioner Gordon throws up the bat signal, Batman know what time it is. When you meet hip hop people and say, what's your podcast called? Breaking Atoms. They know exactly what time it is. They know exactly what it means.
One of my favorite interviews you did was with Raskas.
That's one of my favorites too.
And you know, you and I growing up, big Raskas fans.
Yeah.
Especially K.I.N.E.T.I.K. Shout out to
K.I.N.E.T.I.K.
Massive Raskas.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
So like, you can tell how much you enjoyed the interview as well. Doesn't that give you like a great feeling when you just come with some gems and maybe even come with questions that he's never been asked before?
I take pride in that.
Yeah, man.
Sumit calls me the actual factual. That was his name he gave me. I didn't know. I remember earlier in this interview when I talked about sitting in my room for years, just immersing myself in this, that it was preparing me for this. I didn't know.
Right.
I really, bro, I'll be honest with you, I ask these people the questions I want to ask because I'm a fan. Like, if I was to interview you now, I got a bunch of questions for you. I wouldn't need to prepare because it's like, I've heard your music and what did he mean by that? Or talk, do you know what I mean?
You know, it's funny. I was at an event this Monday gone. It was T3 Slum Village. And DJ Ace, shout out to my brother, DJ Ace. He had an event in, what's the name of that watch company called again? What are they called again? G-Shock. Thank you, Jermaine.
I was going to say Fossil, you know.
Yeah, G-Shock. Thank you, Jermaine. Yeah, G-Shock. Yeah, it was in G-Shock. And, Casio. I asked T3, I said, what did you think about Elzai's verse on Reunion?
That's a great verse.
No one's ever asked him that.
No?
No one's ever asked. And his face was like, he was stunned.
You know what? That shows people are not on their job.
No.
People are not on job.
Maybe people didn't want to ask you because it's a very personal verse.
No, that's the first thing I'm asking you.
Yeah.
No one's asked him about Elzai's verse.
No.
I had unlawful demons on you. Come on.
Yeah.
What?
He was kind of taken aback by that, but he answered it. But he was also like, they're not on good terms now, innit?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I take pride in that, man. Like when I got to speak to OC, and some of the stuff we unearthed in that interview, and he was like, originally the interview was an hour, and we ended up talking for 2.5 hours. Right. So imagine your favorite MC says, "No, keep going." I really take pride in that, because you're building history, and these men have been doing interviews for 25, 30 years. I'm not gonna come and ask them. Nah,
no doubt question. It's gonna be on point.
It's not what I do. It's not what we do.
All right, well, K.I.N.E.T.I.K, I'm gonna ask you some questions in a bit, but before we do that, you actually have a song with me. And I don't know if I should play it or not. I don't know.
You should definitely 1000% play it.
I want to do my verse again, though.
You want to do your verse again?
Yeah. No, I can't remember. I want to do my verse again, though.
You think
I do this sometimes. I want to do, but you can play it.
Yeah?
You can play it, man.
I'm wondering if this is the version, because I might be playing anything. No, this ain't the version. We recorded. Where did we record this? We recorded this
we recorded this at the
Savage
Jukebox
Dan.
Record. Yeah, shout out to Savage Dan.
Big up to Savage Dan, man, and the Filthy Fellas guys.
Come on.
Like, you got a relationship with them as well, haven't you?
I have a relationship with Dan in terms of like being an engineer. Dan's a really cool guy. We're not close friends,
right?
But I want to shout out Dan, because when we wanted to get Poet on How We Hustle,
right,
I didn't know how to get in touch with Poet. Okay. So I messaged Dan. I said, Dan, can you make this connection? And 24 hours later, Poet said, I'm down.
Yeah.
Dan is a good, and he's funny.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he needs to have a comedy show.
Is he not starting his own boxing?
I wouldn't surprise me.
I think he's the one that was behind the whole. You know how those influencers are boxing each other recently. Lippy was involved in it. I think
it would not surprise me. Yeah. One bang Dan.
One bang Dan.
Yeah. He's supposedly he's a good boxer.
Yeah, because he used to do boxing.
Yeah, I believe him.
So this song is called Bam Bam Bigelow.
Okay.
Tell me about Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam Bam Bigelow is one of the greatest big men to ever grace the wrestling ring. He was flamboyant. He was scary. He was a trailblazer.
And I think we recorded this because we thought he was going to take his rightful place into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we was trying to get...
When did you record this, you guys?
Like
2 years ago. we was trying to get ahead of the algorithms.
Trying to show we know what's happening.
Vince
McMahon said, nah.
There was like a strong rumor that he was getting in.
Yeah.
So we thought, let's beat them to it. And I'm
gonna do my verse again. The delivery was a bit ropey.
You think so?
Yeah, I can do better.
Perfectionist.
I'm like that.
All right, let me see if this is the version. This ain't it.
It's not meant to be, bro.
Nah, I don't think we should play it, to be honest. Because cool. I think if you're not happy with your verse,
no. If you find it, play it. I was gonna actually message you and say I would like to do it again. It's be the same verse, just gonna tighten it up.
Nah, it's fine. Sorry, guys. I teased you guys there. We'll play something else. K.I.N.E.T.I.K, I've got a few questions for you, but before we get into that, I'm gonna play a few other songs, and then we'll get back into your world.
Sounds good.
SKILLITS world.
Celebrate this. When I was feeling low and I had a gig, you made me steal the show. Man, I love this shit. Watch the videos, download my shit. When I doubted me, man, you never did. So I'm in debt to you. So I'm a rep for you. Cause you've accepted me. So I'm accepting you. So what's success to you? Trust I'm seeing it. Cause you showed me love and I'm me in it. Attitudes, gratitude, and I'm steeped in it. Some guys don't have fans that speak in it. For the ones I got, I have 3 minutes to say thank you very much from me. Skillet. I owe it to you. I owe it to you. I owe it to you. And you. I owe it to you. I owe it to you. I owe it to you. And you. And I owe it to you. I owe it to you. I owe it to you. And you. I owe it to you. I owe it to you. I owe it to you. And you.
Funny cause you're a clown. Well, I got something for you. What you did to me and what you did to my main screen ain't funny. You crossed the line. You touched. You laid your hand on my main screen, doink, and you are going to pay.
From the darkest parts of Asbury Park, I'm bringing greetings. Without the Bruce Springsteen, just some vicious beatings. From Philly to Atlanta to Connecticut, the beast from the east wants beef and he's getting it. Jimmy Crockett couldn't stop it cause I was the man. And me and Vader were major out in Japan. 400 pounds made the game freeze. And I keep a lunatic by my side, that's my main squeeze. Anybody that stepped up got broken and swept up with scoop slams and headbutts. I was hardcore for the whole of my stint. The crowd spazzed when me and Taz left the hole in the ring. Beats, rhymes and flames on the tights, that's a triple threat. My Jersey triad you should never disrespect. You hear the bam bam when I'm cracking your bones. I got the fire for the heads like the tats on my dome.
This Sunday, you're gonna see the beast Kamala from Uganda and his manager, the Reverend Slick, take on me. Bam Bam Bigelow, the one, the only, the true beast. In WrestleMania, it's gonna be Beast versus Beast, and the winner is gonna be the true beast.
I've never been a lost boy, cause I'm the beast from the east. That's Wolf from Stone. So stop your fuss, boy. Watch how you speak, in the count of 3 you'll be deceased. Headbutts and elbows to your knees. Rest in peace. You hear the thunder in your wake. A blunder, you're a mistake. You're gonna feel it break with the fire in my belly. And it's all in my veins. You can see it tattooed right on the top of my face. A slam dance after dark and we're taking those names. Bam Bam is Berry Park, all I need is the flames. Me and K.I.N.E.T.I.K connect. We overdoing the fame. Move salts insane, choke you till you blue in the face. Missing tooth with the flames on the suit. Big name, you're taking L when you're trying to main event and it's big game. All the managers want me, cause they want that bigger flow. It's Figaro and we do it big like Bam Bam Bigelow. Crush you and your Louis Vuittons with a ride or die bitch. That's my Luna Vachon. She loved the violence. She's never easily impressed. Choking till you're dead. A slight grip, make her satisfied quick. Your click, trying to hold me back, but they can't tame the beast. You're insane. You can never ever dame compete. Hard as steel, cartwheels on the day you retreat. Bam Bam, Hall of Fame. Say my name in the streets. Bam Bam.
Jim Ross, I'm not only thinking about winning the New York City Rumble, and I'm not only thinking about getting my hands on something. There's a lot to
You're
think
listening
about
to
here.
I Live
We have
Radio.
30 minutes.
Changing the way number one to
I Live Radio. Doesn't get any bigger than that. And if Dwight happens to get in my way, of course I'm going to eliminate him, and I'm going to eliminate 29 other.
Alright, so I ended up playing the song afterwards because I found it.
Thank you, man.
And what did you think? It wasn't actually as bad as you thought.
No, I'm just, you know what it is? I'm just a perfectionist, bro. But I was listening to some of those lines, man, when I said I keep a lunatic by my side. Main
That's
squeeze.
the main
Shout out to
squeeze.
Luna Vachon.
Luna Vachon, man.
Yeah, man. And she had a bit of a tick because she used to do that with her.
Yeah, I got it. That was
triple entendre.
That was. Don't even ask me how.
Yeah, Bam Bam was the guy.
Yeah, man. Rest in peace to Bam Bam Bigelow. I know it's a shame when he died, man. K.I.N.E.T.I, man, I've got a few questions for you.
Yeah, man.
You know what? I was gonna make it hard and make it say it rapidly, but I'm just gonna
I'm here, man. I've got nowhere to go.
I'm just gonna ask away. Say hi to the people in the camera, by the way, if you can. Wave to them, people tuning in. We've got everybody locked in right now. All right, so K.I.N.E.T, what is your favorite holiday destination?
What's my favorite holiday destination? Dominican Republic.
And why?
Because it was the first holiday I went on with my wife.
Is that the first you went with your wife?
First holiday I went with my wife. First time we had a package holiday. So I was in the all-inclusive, but I was in a place called the Preferred Club.
Okay.
Where I could have sat by the beach for like 2 weeks if I wanted to. Man was bringing me steak sandwich, all of that. We got married in Dominican Republic too. It's my favorite spot.
That's cute.
When did you meet Roxy?
I met Roxy in 2011. I think like March, April time, 2011.
These were living proof times, no?
I never went to Living Proof. It's one of the biggest.
Yeah, you didn't go proof. You wasn't a Living Proof kid.
I was inside the house. I told you. I was inside the house.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
Okay,
I was inside the house. But yeah, it must have been like spring 2011.
Rumor has it you are quite. This is interesting. Actually, this is actually very interesting because we got a guy on the left here that you can't see. He's handling all the technical stuff here and the cameras and all that. He's a massive Mario Kart enthusiast.
Okay.
And so are you.
Yes, I am.
We might have to get a clash between. He's looking at me like there's no way that you can beat him.
All right, cool.
He looked at me like there's no way you can beat him.
You know, he could probably beat me, and there's a couple of people who have beat me, but it's almost like. You see, like certain wrestlers will lose but still look great.
Yeah,
I'm that.
Right.
Yeah, I play them
So you're not
Japanese
threatened by Jermaine? That's what
Not
you're
at all.
trying to say?
Not at all. I'm here for all the smoke.
Okay. Okay.
All the smoke.
What is your favorite Mario Kart course?
Mount Wario.
I don't think I know that. What game was that on?
That's on the Switch, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So it's basically a track where you go from the top to the bottom.
Right.
It's not laps. You just go from top to bottom, and there's some ill shortcuts as well. Love that track.
Jermaine is nodding his head in glee.
What's your favorite one? Okay. Which version? The Wii version. Okay.
And the Rainbow.
Okay.
World.
Can you do the SNES version though without the barriers? Okay, so you're one of them. All right. We need to play. Oh no. Well, if you say you can't do it now, you're not ready for me.
So I'm not on your level. My favorite is the baby park. We just go around.
No,
and
that's
like,
dead.
like
That's dead.
7. You know what I mean? The baby park.
You see when someone picks that,
it's like 30 seconds to go around the course. It's so easy.
When someone picks that, I say they
it's great.
want
I
no
get
smoke
first
today.
all the time.
Yeah.
I win that every time.
If you're actually really good, you'll understand why it's taking that track.
Thank you. See, it is quite
You know what it
tricky,
is? It's when you cut the corners on the grass using the boost.
Do you know why I love
so
it?
you don't go all the way around.
No, but do you know why I love it? Anybody can win. Anyone in that track could win.
You think so?
Yes, because you can go round, right, and then you could be like dead last, and then one mistake can hit you, like a blue shell can hit you, and I can just take over because it's like 30 seconds per thing.
I think my niece did beat me on that one time. Still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
That's what I'm trying to say.
I feel like that's a bit of an insult, but okay. Your favorite rap performance, like live on stage?
Oh, Little Brother.
You open up for them?
Oh, my preferred.
Yeah, yours.
Oh no, it's got to be Pete Rock, CL Smooth.
Okay.
Parky called me down. I was on my way home. Parky called me down to perform Here We Go on stage at the Jazz Cafe. I've always wanted to perform there.
Right.
And that was one of my favorites. But I got to say, Grand Central when we opened up for Black Milk.
Yeah,
we killed that.
I opened up for Black Milk as well. You must have done it before me.
XOYO.
I did it in Cargo.
And now I remember where I first met you.
You think that's what it was?
No, I met you when you opened up for 5.
Really?
At Jazz Cafe. That's the first.
I feel like I saw you. I feel like we've known each other before that.
Because I interviewed 5 that night, and I remember that's the night I met K.I.N.E.T.I.K.
Okay.
That's my earliest memory of you. That's my earliest memory of you.
Your favorite interview you've ever done for Breaking Amps? I think you've answered this before.
It's got to be Raz Kaz or OC, one of those two.
Greatest rapper of all time.
I'm gonna go with Jay-Z.
Oh, I love that. Wow, I wasn't expecting to say that. That's my answer.
What were you expecting?
I don't know, because I feel like back
favorite rapper of all time. It was for a long time. It was Biggie.
Yeah,
for a long time.
Yeah, Biggie was your guy. Honestly, I think Biggie's everyone's guy. But
if you ask me in 5 years, I'll probably say Fonte. But I don't want to alienate the audience.
Okay, so well, I mean, Jay-Z.
They'll be like Fonte. Who's that?
Jay-Z's a great answer.
Yeah, if that's who it is, say it.
Yeah, I love.
Say it from your chest.
No, but you have a personal. If you have a personal favorite,
you know what? It could very well be just in terms of whose music really kind of
Fonte
what I
from Little
listen
Brother
to every day.
The guy that influenced Drake. Did
yeah,
you know that?
But it's got to be OC.
Did you know that?
Yeah, that's why I get angry.
Yeah,
I get angry.
Yeah,
the man they shout out Fonte, but never want to get on a song with him. They run from
I think that's different. I don't know if Drake. I think Drake would work with Fonte if they had the chance.
Well,
I think he would.
Supposedly, like that song "Not Here Anymore."
Yeah,
the one with Elzai.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be J. Cole and Drake on that song.
Okay,
They didn't want
to be a part of it. Greatest wrestler of all time.
Greatest wrestler of all time is Bret the Hitman Hart.
Absolutely. Best fast food restaurant.
Oh, I'm from Northwest, so I'm biased, man. I'm gonna go with Sam's Chicken and Ribs.
For real?
But have you tried Marley's though?
I have. Morley's is fire, man. I remember that because I used to record in South London a lot, so I used to betray my Northwest roots every session. I used to go Keno. When I used to go see Chemo, I used to hit Morley's. The wings is alright, you know.
Big up Chemo, man.
Yeah, man. What?
What's up? What's going on with him?
Chemo's traveling the world doing engineering work.
Oh, good for him.
But yeah, Chemo's a very important part of my story too. So
very important part of loads of UK rappers.
Yep. Chemo should have his own statue.
I agree. Favorite TV show?
The Wire.
Absolutely. Your dream collaboration?
Fonte.
Okay. Favorite film?
I'm not really a film guy, but in terms of the films that really move me, I'm going to go with American History X.
Really? Okay, good film. Favorite sweet?
Oh, my favorite sweet. My favorite sweet.
Feel free to chime in.
I've been boxing off bare lemon sherbets lately, but my favorite. Can it be a chocolate?
You're doing sherbets.
Old school, man.
You're doing sherbets in
Charlie and the
2022.
Chocolate Factory.
You're doing sherbets in 2022.
Lemon sherbets, you know the hard-boiled
Not
ones.
criticizing you because you like what you like.
I like what, but you know, I'm kind
sherbets
of
in 2022.
Yeah, you know, but I'm stush though. Like, so I like that the Lindt chocolates.
Okay. Yeah.
I mess with those.
That's
I
nice.
mess with those.
Favorite condiment?
Ketchup.
Yeah, you can't really go wrong with ketchup.
Really?
What were you gonna say?
Priya's a fan. She likes them.
Okay, look, I'm Indian, yeah. We are all about the condiment game.
Oh, you know what?
We come hard with the condiment
If you're doing
game.
that, you know, I tell you what condiment is mango chutney a condiment?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I
even
rocks with that. I rocks with that.
That's the ketchup of India, fam.
Yeah. The ketchup of India. Mango chutney.
Ketchup of India.
Yeah, I mess with mango chutney, you know. See when you bust that poppadom in the chutney. What?
I need to bust you on mango and mint, like the mix and the
Okay, that's
coriander.
different.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
different.
We'll
that's
get you on
different.
that.
Alright,
Don't worry.
cool.
Favorite producer?
Favorite producer?
Gotta think about that one, innit?
It's probably okay because I do it in genres, bro. Can I say my favorite producers?
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's gonna be DJ Premier. Okay, I've got a whole hip hop list. I'm gonna go with Quincy Jones, Teddy Riley, DJ Premier, Pete Rock, Dilla, Large Professor. Come on, man. Sorry. This is why you doing this to me, man. But I'm gonna go with Quincy Jones.
So Quincy Jones then.
Shout out to Jim Johnston as well. He's in my top 10.
Yeah.
He has to be.
I love Jim Johnston.
He has to be.
I've never thought about putting him in the top 10 producers, but he's a staple of our childhood.
Yeah.
What else can I ask him?
I thought you had a whole list.
Where did he get the name K.I.N.E.T.I.K from?
1995. I was in Berlin Danes. That's the school I went to. So there was a rapper he lived around the corner from me. His name was Nathaniel, but he went by the name of Haniel. I was playing basketball, said I need a rap name. He's like, K.I.N.E.T.I.K, you move people lyrically, physically, and spiritually. I said, yep, there we go.
Is he Jamaican?
I think he is.
Yeah, that sounds like something Jamaican would say.
Yeah, you know how we roll, innit?
Spiritually, I'm sounding Trinity when I say that. I'm not even gonna do it.
That Prince element.
Element. Favorite food from Jamaica?
Patties.
Just patties.
What type of patty?
Every patty.
Every patty.
And bro, I'm addicted to patties, bro.
Favorite barber?
My favorite barber ever in life is a guy called Tyrone.
And is he from your ends?
Absolutely, from
yeah.
E. He's just started his own barbershop called Effects Barbers, the best barber in the history of the world.
And how long have you been going to him?
Well, he's been my barber since 2011.
Wow.
So it's been a minute.
Yeah,
I was the first person he cut. It was on the first day he went there.
Rotted.
He's a sick barber.
Your favorite collaboration that you've done with an artist? Who's your favorite person that you've worked with?
Favorite person that I've worked with is Odyssey.
Okay.
Yeah, because that was someone who I always said to myself, listen, I want to be able to rhyme with the people that I like.
Yeah.
And see if I can hang with them.
Yeah.
And I hung.
Someone that you've never had a chance to work with, but that you would love to work with?
Apart from me, obviously.
Kalashnikov.
K-Lash.
And Black Twang.
Yeah. Good choices. Good choices. Who are some of your hip hop idols in like UK hip hop idols?
Kalashnikov, Black Twang,
Roots,
Kaiser. It feels weird.
Kaiser. It feels not worked with Kaiser.
Kaiser did half of my next album production. He did 7 beats.
But not he didn't rap.
He's done 4 verses for me.
That's awesome. I can't wait to hear that.
You know what? I can play you some of the stuff after.
Yeah, for sure.
It's weird calling Kaiser one of the greats because now he's one of the homies.
Mm-hmm.
But Kaiser, you talking about UK hip hop?
Yeah.
I got a shout out Parky, of course. Jest.
Yeah.
Never forget Jest.
You've not worked with Jest?
I never worked with Jest, but funny stories when I did Products of the City Life.
Yeah.
With Parky, Jest was in the studio and I did that.
Right.
And I did the first verse in one take and he said, that's it, don't change it.
Big up.
So that was fun.
I got love for Jest.
Jest is a great, Jest is one of I forgot, M9.
Big up M9. You know what? It's funny because, you know, before I even thought about rapping myself, like I used to listen to Jest albums a lot. And I remember me and Jest, Beat Butcher and Big Up Rude Adams. We shared a car ride together and it was one of the best moments ever, man. It was so fun. But and M9 as well. You know how much love M9 used to show me?
M9.
We never spoke about working together, but he used to always like plug my music. He used to always talk to me about my music.
Bro, M9 is one of the best. And
then when I see him, it's always love.
M9 is one of the whole Triple Darkness crew. We used to record at the same studio.
Right.
Chemo recorded all of us.
Right.
And they were one of the people that really made me feel welcome as part of UK hip hop, because I had identity issues. I was like, oh, do I fit in? Do people like me? And they would just see me like, what you saying, man? Like, oh, yeah, we heard it, man. That's dope. Do you know what I mean? Love those
Did you
guys.
have identity issues with hip hop?
Because I didn't know where I fit in. I was still finding my voice.
Well, it's difficult. I feel like the way the game, it's a bit more of an industry now than it was when we were doing it. It was still really split in so many different fragments.
Very segmented.
And you could be if you're not doing this lane.
You talk about like 10 years ago?
Yeah, 10, 13 years ago. Like, if you're not doing grime or you're not doing garage, if you're not, garage is kind of dead by then, but you know what I mean? If you're not doing a funky house or whatever, then it's like kind of hard for people to find your music.
Yeah, they put you in a box. But T1 said something to me the other day, and he said, K.I.N.E.T, the reason why you're underrated is because you were hard to put into a box.
Yeah.
He said in many ways that allowed me to be allowed me to be creatively free. But for some people to understand what you're doing is that they got to put you in a box. Well, yeah, like I feel much more comfortable now, and I'm very happy with my contributions just because I know I've put some stuff in the world that's, quality is subjective. People might not like it, some people do. Right. But I know I put out some positive stuff in the world too.
Sure.
And I
the
think
most important thing is how you feel about it.
And I think about my legacy. Like, if I ever have kids or, my niece and nephew can say, my uncle did that. Then they hear my songs in the car and that's our uncle.
Yeah.
That means a lot to it.
They're watching you. Even when you don't think they're watching you, they're watching you hard.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What was it like working with Jaunty, man?
Jaunty, it's easy. It's always easy to work with Jaunty, man. Like Jaunty, just like, what I love about Jaunty the most? He just has concepts, man.
Yeah.
He's able to take deep concepts and make them simple. So like, even when we did Closer, he's like, yeah, man, I want to do a song. I said, about what? Called Closer. I said, what do you mean? He's like, what do you feel closer to?
Yeah.
Just talk about it. I said, cool, got it. Like, he always shows up for me. He's on my new album.
He's very introspective.
Very introspective, and I think that's why I relate to him.
Yeah.
Because he's very introspective. But he's on my new album as well.
Okay.
So I put the call out.
Now you said earlier that your missus cooks.
Yes.
Do you enjoy cooking?
I've started to enjoy cooking a lot more.
What's your best dish that you can cook?
I'm very basic, but my chicken game is mad. Like I've been doing this kind of barbecue chicken. I've been killing that. I've been making cassava.
Okay.
Nice.
Making cassava,
as a carb.
Cassava, Yamming them thing there.
Yeah, my wife's culinary skills are just crazy.
What's her background? I mean, I know, but
my wife is Iranian.
She's Iranian.
Yes.
Yeah. So she comes with a lot of Iranian type of food.
Yeah, but she
cooks everything though.
She cooks she can cook yard food.
Yeah,
too,
I know. Yeah. She cooks West Indian food. Yeah,
come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, now she's dope in the kitchen.
So you said that she's better than you?
Yeah. Light years ahead of me.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's always the case. Sometimes there's always one outstanding cook out of the two.
Yeah, no. Listen, like you have to know your place, innit? You have to know certain levels, innit? Like when it comes to certain things, she just bodies me. Like
just know what you're bringing to the table, and then you're good.
I don't want to even just say cooking and just place her in the kitchen, but just her business mind as well. She's very. There's been situations I've gone through at work professionally. How do I navigate this? And she'll give me game in terms of this is how you should do it.
That's nice. I like that, man. Yeah, I love the way how you guys work together as a team, man.
No, we try, man. We're not a team. We're not a team.
You're not a team?
No, not a team. We're not a team.
You're just both doing your own thing?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
We just live together, innit?
If you were to support a football team, what would it be?
I used to support Arsenal.
What happened?
One day I had an epiphany that I was a fake fan.
So
because I wasn't in it like you lot was. And I felt like I was perpetrating and faking the funk.
So when
Loads of people do that.
Yeah, but you know what it is? I hate when people do that with hip hop and wrestling. I didn't want to be a hypocrite.
You think it's going to be Liverpool today or Real Madrid?
I hope so, because Liverpool is an institution for black folk.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah,
It really is.
That's why you support them. To be fair.
I supported them because of John Barnes.
Yeah, but bro, John Barnes is important.
But back then there wasn't an institution for black folk. John Barnes was the only black.
But that's the point.
That's the point. Carl Thomas afterwards.
But what I mean is, like, a lot of our parents, when they first came to this country, part of the assimilation process, you got to support a football team.
Yeah, of course.
And then they saw John Barnes.
Yeah, for sure.
Then it's gone down through the ages. So I'm rooting for Liverpool before I wrote for any Real Madrid. You must be mad.
Yeah, 100. And I hope we do it, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you, man. But Arsenal
game.
Ian Wright birthed a generation of Arsenal fans.
Of course, Ian Wright, one of the greatest of all time.
Come on now.
And then you had another generation of Arsenal fans because of Thierry Henry.
Absolutely.
Like my little brother Henry. Shouts to Henry.
Yeah,
Henboss.
shout out to Henboss.
He's an Arsenal fan because of Henry. So
good choice.
And that was a good time to be. Those times then, that was a good time to be an Arsenal fan. Yeah, you guys are winning everything back then. So you had United obviously on your shoulder, but
United.
But you guys, but you were the only team at that time to put United.
Yeah,
to give them trouble.
I could still watch Arsenal now, but I would say I'm more of an observer and a casual.
Well, I feel
supporter.
like Arsenal are they're working on coming back.
I hope so.
No, they're working on it.
I hope so.
I see them as in a far better place than Man United are.
Okay, good. That's all I want.
In terms of their system and how, I pray Arteta's going to get supported.
Right, you go to God about football, bruv.
I mean, yeah, I'm a football fan. I love football. I love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what? You get on your knees and say, "Dear God," and that.
No, it's not.
Like if you wouldn't have been a rapper, you'd be a footballer.
I don't know about that. I don't think I had the tech like that.
No, but if you had a choice, do you know what I mean? Like the choice.
Of course, like looking back, yeah. If I could redo my life, I would have probably taken playing football seriously.
That's a good question. What would you do if you weren't rapping?
Yeah. If I could redo my life, and like if hindsight was 2020, and I had the knowledge of like what I know now.
Yeah.
When I was a youth, I probably would have.
I would be an Undertaker.
Wow, Tid. That's an Undertaker.
I'll be an Undertaker.
Jermaine's face. He's respecting it.
Yeah, I mean,
Jermaine's respecting it. What is going on?
You see, I'll tell you why I'd be an Undertaker. Because
it's never run out of business.
Never run. If anything, business is peak now.
Yeah, but that's a.
No, it's not. You know how much money black people spend on funerals, bro?
I hear what you're saying, money wise. But it's
That's a deep job.
It's the job itself ain't nice.
So I grew up in Northwest London. I've seen death. It's fine.
Yeah. Okay. An Undertaker.
Boy. And on that note,
round of applause for K.I.N.E.T.
K.I.N.E.T. the Undertaker.
That's got a ring to it. I just finished
does.
a few months ago. I just finished watching 6 Feet Under. It's a great show.
Who stars in that?
Michael C. Hall, Peter Krause.
Yeah, is that good?
Loved it.
I saw the adverts for that. Actually.
Loved it. But I love Michael C. Hall though.
You looking forward to Stranger Things?
I'm really enjoying it. But I actually want to do a version. I've got questions. Like, why are these kids just allowed to run around in a city where there's duppy and demons, bruv?
You're white.
Yeah, if this was Asian
Fam,
black people,
sir,
I'm sorry,
ma'am.
They wouldn't be allowed. They would not be allowed.
If my child, imagine you live in a city, and let's say you imagine the Upside Down was in Harzen, and my child say, I'm just going outside. I said, where you getting?
My mum would be like, "You're doing no."
I say what?
She would laugh in my face.
I said what? But they got to wrap it up soon though, because these guys they look a lot older now.
Yeah, getting much older.
They do.
Yeah, and
much older.
One of these kids got to die.
They get into the awkward teen stage.
Yeah,
so
you
they
got that.
Who would you choose?
Who would I choose?
Who do you choose? Mind you, I have forgotten what's been happening, man.
I kind of want Lucas is a bit of a sellout now. So
Lucas, the one with the curly hair.
No, that's Dustin.
That's Dustin.
Yeah,
Who's
Dustin's
Lucas
my guy.
again?
Dustin's my guy.
Who's Lucas again?
The black youth.
Is he why is he a sellout?
He was
What, season
always
4?
like that from the get-go.
A bit of a
From
sellout.
season 1, he had sellout tendency.
Yeah, his sellout settings are high this season, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
You don't remember from season 1, he had sellout tendency.
Sellout settings is high.
bro.
Okay.
I love that show though.
Ozark.
Loved it.
I haven't seen part 2. Yes.
Okay, love that.
I saw her talk to. She talked to Killer Mike in a restaurant.
Yeah,
and I
It was a little predictable part 2.
Okay, all right.
And like it was good, but it was what I was expecting.
Right.
They didn't shock me.
I heard this. I heard that it's not the show.
No.
Like it's still a good show, but it's not the show that it should have been. How it ended. Yeah.
It didn't shock me.
But you know what? It's killing me though. And what I think is arguably better than Breaking Bad, and probably one of the best.
Tell me.
Better Call Saul, bro.
Bruv.
Listen.
I can't even high five, bruv. We got to talk.
Listen.
We have got,
bruv. I've been arguing with the quarantine on my group chat. I've been telling everyone that chat that that's a better show than Breaking Bad.
Sir.
And they don't agree.
High five me, bro.
But watch how this. Listen,
bruv.
I saw the last episode,
bruv. I watched the last episode and I sat there and I said, what have I just seen?
Yeah. Priya, watch Better Call Saul.
You thought Gus Fring was a bad man, yeah? There's a man out there called Lalo Salamanca. Real bad man.
But you put some extra sauce on that.
You see that man, yeah? If Lalo Salamanca, the thing with him, yeah? He's a psychopath, but he's so charming. He'd be the kind of man that come to your house to kill you and you'd let him in because he's so charming.
He's so nice.
Not me, but
yeah, not you, but yeah.
Real bad man.
But listen, the way this series is,
bruv,
yeah, they're killing it.
The way they link it up with Breaking Bad, I'm like, these mans, their writing is of a different
the writings are different. But that's the thing. It's because they stepped up with writing. It's because obviously the Breaking Bad went back in like 2010 and whatever, and now they're writing this show because this show is supposed to be a prequel to Breaking Bad.
I didn't get that, and that's why I
Yeah,
never
that's
watched
what you're
it,
like.
'cause
What's
I'm
going
I don't
on?
wanna watch some spin-off.
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm so.
It's so basically it's all the events that happen that leads to Breaking
Okay,
Bad.
now I'm in.
I am
I'm
so
bought in.
scared.
And now because they wrote Breaking Bad, which was a great show.
That was
So their
fantastic.
level of writing has gone to
Bro,
another
I am
level.
so scared
and
because
they're killing it.
Because Kim is not mentioning Breaking Bad. What happened to Kim?
Yeah, you're gonna find out.
I'm scared.
Yeah, you know it's gonna be something sad. So
I got a theory.
We'll
though.
leave it from there.
I got a theory.
What's that?
I think she's gonna use the disappearer brother. She's gonna be the first man to use him.
Oh, really? Okay, well, let's not spoil it for people.
Yeah, but that show's great. I'm glad. I can talk to you about it now.
Another
I'm
great
glad.
show that ended, closed doors. I don't know if you ever watched this with Roxy. Pree, I know Pree's a massive fan of this show. I don't know if Jermaine ever watched it with his
Tell me.
This Is Us.
I've never seen it.
Jeez,
Very good show.
I'm so jealous of you.
Yeah.
Is it
You get
the
to watch
one?
This
Is
Is
it the one?
Us
Is it-
from the
It's you
get
and
go.
I think you and Roxy to watch that together.
It's 6
Yeah.
seasons.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, I ain't
It's
got-
a good
no,
show.
I ain't got time.
You'll cry gangster tears.
You have.
You'll cry gangster
You're gonna
tears.
find
All right,
the
you know
time.
what it is? Because it's you two, I'm
Yeah.
gonna watch it, and if I don't like it, I'm calling
You're
you.
gonna
you'll
freaking
like
love it.
You'll like it.
Are we gonna talk about The Shield?
Now the Shield for me.
Talk about the Shield.
The Shield for me, still till this day,
The greatest finale ever.
the greatest season finale of all time, and that is actually well documented. That's not even our opinion.
No, we know.
That is that's an opinion
Bro.
of critics all
When I
around the
watched
world.
when I watched the season finale,
It's
I said to myself,
unbelievable.
excuse me.
It's unbelievable.
I said, excuse me.
And it's so underrated. Like as a show, it's
It is.
so underrated. I
Bro.
remember
You
and I
got
used to
me
watch
on
it.
that, Skillet. You
I
got
used to
me
go
on
in.
that.
Without that show, you don't have Sons of Anarchy. I
No.
like the way it's shot, like this fly on the wall documentary. Am I taking up time?
No, we're gonna wrap up in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
but yeah,
fly on the wall documentary style. Love that show, and the finale. Not to spoil it, but I like the finale because it's realistic. You know,
It's,
sometimes we want the bad guy to get locked up, but sometimes the punishment is the freedom.
I've got a really crazy story. When I was working at London Eye, I met 2 cast members
told me, yeah,
of The Shield. I met Lemansky,
My guy.
and I met Shane Vandrell's the woman that plays Shane Vandrell's
Mara,
missus.
I hate her guts.
And she said, yeah, I played a horrible person.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, and Lem was just like, I think Lem was stressed out because he was with his kids and his wife.
Okay.
And it was a busy day, and I think his kids were acting like spoiled brats.
Okay.
And he just looked like he didn't want to be there. And I came up to him and I said, listen, I love The Shield, and he's like, his face is lit up. He's like, oh, thank you, man.
And he was
he needed to hear that.
Yeah.
But that show, I was so upset that show didn't get as much props as it did.
Bruv.
Like one of the best shows ever.
That's the finale, fam.
One of the best TV shows ever.
Good
If
Lord.
you have never seen The Shield, anyone, I recommend it. Police drama about corrupt police in LA. It came out in 2002, ended maybe 2007.
Yeah, it was 7 series.
2008.
And you know what's dope? It's 7 series, but it never felt long.
No.
I didn't.
Never felt long. Great show. I've watched it twice.
K.I.N.E.T.I.K, thank you so much for joining me
Thank
today,
you for
man.
having me,
It's
man.
been an absolute pleasure. Where can people find you? Please plug your social media, your events, anything you want to plug, please.
So Kinetic. I am Kinetic. That's I am K.I.N.E.T.I.K on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Breaking Atoms podcast, Break the Atoms on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I have a podcast called Breaking Atoms, obviously. But I also have a new album coming out this year. Hopefully.
Awesome.
It's called Provision.
Wicked.
Produced by Kaiser Smirnoff and T1. I have Jaunty on there. I've got Kaiser on 4 songs. Shout out to Faye Simon. I also have a song with Sky Zoo, which is
you got two with Sky Zoo.
yeah, me, Sky Zoo, and Kaiser together. So
Big up Sky Zoo, man.
one of my favorites.
Mixtape king.
Yeah.
Legend.
Yeah,
Absolute legend.
That's hopefully going to be coming out this year. 13 songs.
Priya, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for coming to
Thank
Skillits
you
World.
for having me.
And thank you for taking care of us. Like you came through with
Yeah, she came through with the snacks and the drinks.
I come with
She
that
hosts,
vibe.
she's the host.
I come with that
Your motherly energy.
Where
was
can people
crazy.
find you, Priya, if they want to find you on social media?
They can find me on Instagram. It's Pree_Preein. You understand the joke?
Yeah,
there.
Pree Preein.
I mean, I'm not Caribbean, but I like the wordplay.
It's all good. We welcome you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.
No, yeah, you'll be back on the show again. K.I.N.E.T.I.K, you'll definitely be back on the show again.
I appreciate you. Thank you, man.
And that was the first ever episode of Skillits World. I want to thank my
Round of applause.
Thank you. Big up Jermaine, man.
Big up Jermaine on the camera.
Trying to make me look pretty and
I didn't swear. Are you proud of me?
Yeah, I'm really
Skillet?
proud of you,
Thank
man.
you. Thank you,
Shout out to
everyone.
my sister Dominique and Ems as well.
Do you know what? Shout out to Emma.
It was her birthday last night. We celebrated her birthday last
Happy
night.
birthday.
So I saw
Big
much up.
ups to Dominican Ems.
But yeah, normally she has her shows every week on I Live each Saturday at 2 p.m. So, but yeah, we'll be back every week. This has been Skillit's World, and we are out. Thank you.
50, 55.
They are now.